The Brewing Network Sunday Session is brought to you by the badasses at More Beer. Visit them at morebeer.com.
Great beer is about drinkability. Doesn't matter the style.
You guys are like walking beer Wikipedia. That's the first time that you've ever accepted me as a person.
Or you have a fermentation in your gut.
I'm jet propelled at all times.
How many guys do you think that you have the privilege to slap?
Somebody who's never tasted a commercial example, and this is how you know everything about this beer? Please, you don't.
I think that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit, too.
Wow. Are you guys going to arm wrestle?
No.
We're going to teabag fight instead.
Yeah. You heard of Junkyard Wars?
Can I get another high five, Beavis?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to The Session, another live show from the Hop Grenade. JP's back in action.
Hi.
Bevo's back in action. And
I'm never in action.
Tasty's
I'm pretty much still all the time.
Yeah, there's no action over
very low.
in the Tasty front. Jamil's back in action. He's with us tonight.
Hey.
Welcome to the show, JZ.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you.
Love to be here.
Jamil of Brewing Network fame, of course.
Yes. Let's get that right out of the way right now.
More recently of Heretic fame. So that's exciting. We always have Heretic on tap here.
Oh, yeah.
Except for potentially tonight. Did we have any Heretic out there tonight?
No, the cousin's on, but the twin. I don't
the
know,
cousin,
that
that's
thing's
true.
lost in space or something.
Oh, the twin goes quick.
I know.
Yeah.
You got to be here.
Usually because it gets delivered and I take it home.
You can buy a couple, you know.
Ooh.
We don't have like a limit on how many you can buy.
No, but you'll appreciate that we only buy a little because we buy enough to keep in cold storage.
Uh-huh.
We don't want to warm store as much as humanly possible.
There you go.
Until we sort out that issue, we just order enough to keep everything cold and ready to go on tap. And you're nearby anyway, so if we really screw up, you know.
Drive out to the brewery, fix them up.
Yeah.
Brewery fresh.
Brewery fresh every time. That's our new slogan here at the Hop Grenade.
Yeah?
Brewery fresh. Yeah.
Every time.
Every single time. Well, how was Disneyland, JP?
It was good. It was really hot, but it was good.
Yeah?
We went down a few days early, did some brewery tours.
Okay.
Hung out with some friends down there, and had a good time.
Any new breweries that we should know about?
Hung out with the guys at Noble Ale Works. They're like 5 minutes from Disneyland.
Oh.
Yeah. They're making some good beer.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was really, it was hot. It was like 87% humidity in like the mid-90s the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Real gross.
Disgusting.
That's
Yeah,
a lot
real
of
gross.
A lot of humidity.
Sounds like my crotch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real gross. Real. No one wants to go there.
It's weird. It smelled like
steamy.
your crotch, too. It's, JP told me.
Right.
That it smelled like that also.
Yeah, like turkey legs. It's weird.
Yeah. Like cooked or,
Yeah,
or like raw?
No, like on the bird.
I see.
Yeah, running away from you.
I heard the weather was nice and cool and crisp and beautiful over at Knott's Berry Farm. Maybe you should check them out next time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Always good weather at Knott's Berry Farm.
Right.
They're a new sponsor.
Oh.
That they told me to
that's
say that.
disappointing.
They said, here's our slogan. Always good weather at Knott's Berry Farm.
Because they don't have the berms to hide the air.
Yeah.
The airflow.
That's right.
What?
That's what I heard about.
Yeah. They actually do put on a really good Halloween, like monster kind of thing. They
Not
tend to-
Scary Farm?
Not So Scary Farm, yes.
Yeah.
And I've always
Why
wanted
do
to
you
go
know
to that.
that?
Because it's pretty red. I don't know.
Because
Not you, Justin.
Oh.
Because I spent some of my youth in Los Angeles,
Oh, that's
and Not
right.
Scary Farm has been going on for quite some time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, we got a great show planned for you today. We'd like to thank our sponsor, More Beer. They bring you this session and every session, and they have since day one. You can go to morebeer.com right now. Great homebrew supplies, great people, nice gentlemen and ladies working over there.
I was just there buying some green coffee for fresh coffee roasting.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I've been thinking about coffee roasting again.
You should.
But
Chad's not around to do it for you.
even then, it didn't happen that much.
That's true.
I get excited about these things because I like equipment and gadgets,
Yeah.
and so I get the gadget and I use it a couple of times, and then I go, I don't know. I can buy pretty good coffee. So I don't use it again.
It's cheaper. I've been doing it for like 6 months. I thought I was going to have that same issue too, but I can roast about 5 ounces at a time, and it lasts me about a week.
Okay.
And I just need to stay on top of it, and it's really easy. Just push
It ends
the
up
button.
cheaper, huh?
It does, because it's like $7-8 a pound.
Okay.
For pretty good coffee. I mean, they get some pretty good quality beans there.
Yeah. No, I remember that, and I remember having a little bit of fun doing it. But then it's just another thing that you have to do.
Kind of like home brewing.
Yeah, it's another
exactly
thing.
Yeah.
Every guy who homebrews goes, I really thought about making mead, but God, I don't want to do it because then you got to.
It's another thing.
I can just buy it.
Every time I think
Yeah.
I think I'll make a pizza. Well, I can just call and have one delivered.
God.
Like when you think about the ideology of making everything yourself and how fun it is, it seems like it's such a great idea. And then you realize how much of your time it all takes.
Yeah.
And who has time anymore, Tasty?
It's like anything. You have to be motivated. I mean, you know, I'm I made a beer that's going to be ready this week, hopefully, for this Northern California Home Brewers Festival. Well, I was motivated because I'd be embarrassed if I showed up without home brew. So
sure.
That was my motivation. I didn't feel like brewing that day. Just like you probably don't feel like brewing most days. But
right.
I had a reason to do it, so I did it.
So you feel motivated then. I get that. But it's also, too, like, you notice that the more things you own, it's just the more stuff you have to do.
Yeah.
Like I thought, I wanted this Volkswagen bus my whole life.
Yeah, here it comes.
Well, I know I still love it.
All right.
But I realized that it means regular maintenance and the waxing of the paint because I spent money on the paint and and it's just one example. And I mean, and the more things you think that you want, all it means is more shit on your calendar that you got to make sure you're doing stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, Jamel?
Oh yeah. I don't know. You end up wasting all your time taking care of all your stuff.
Your stuff, exactly.
But you have to think about the upside, like your finished batches of beer, or being in the right lane at 54 miles an hour with a trailer for 19 hours in a row.
Look at
it's the upside that really sells the work.
It's like trying to go and have sex, and you end up. You got to go out to. You got to get dressed up. You got to go to the club. You got to find somebody. You got to talk nice to them. Yeah. You go with all this stuff. You just pay somebody, and
it's
the whole thing done.
Better yet, just stay home and surf internet porn.
There you go.
I mean, you're right. The effort it takes
dressed.
to actually do things in life is it's not worth the payoff.
Sometimes it's not.
Exactly.
It's better off sitting in a room by yourself.
Actually, we should.
JP, turns out you've had it right the whole time.
I've been trying to, and then so I've been trying to. I'm going to do some more stuff. Like I got the bug. That's why I got rid of the bug. It's too much maintenance. It's too much work, so I got rid of it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's just
I get it now.
You kind of trim it down, and you find that nice balance. I was actually thinking about getting older because I think you and I are both going to be 37.
Yeah.
Here shortly.
Yeah.
And I wish that I knew the stuff now when I did when I was like 15. Because I just want to learn more stuff and do more stuff and have more hobbies, but then at the same time, I don't have fucking time for it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you're not doing anything when you're 15.
Right. So why not just take all your time to learn cool shit then?
Yeah.
And then when you're 37, when you're ancient,
Is that how old we're turning?
I think so.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Sam's birthday today.
Speaking of ancient and no sex,
Sammy the douche right there with his shitty LA Dodgers hat on his head. He's turned.
I thought you were going to say his shitty daughter. I was going to slap you.
No, his
on his head.
daughter's the only thing good about Sam. Sam, how old are you today? 35 or something? 35. I met Sam. I think I met Sam when he was 18.
Ugh.
I'm pretty sure you were 18 when I met you.
An 18-year-old Sam just seems a recipe for doucheness.
Stupid. It seems stupid.
Actually, he was a lot less douchey back then.
Really?
You think it's Bev's
A lot
fault?
more creepy.
He was more creepy. He didn't say anything to anybody back then.
The good old days.
He would just nod and giggle. Like that. You go, hey, Sam, that was funny, huh?
It was the homeschool.
What's a creepy Sam story? How was Sam more creepy than he is?
Yeah, he
now?
would just sort of stare at you in a creepy way. Kind of like Tasty does.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like he just looks at you weird.
All right.
No, I don't know. He just, because you couldn't figure him out. You couldn't even tell if he liked you or not.
Okay.
Because he would really...
Still can't.
You couldn't tell if he was having fun. You couldn't tell if he was happy or sad.
That's pretty much now.
Yeah, still sad. At least he smiles a bit now,
That's true.
I'd
I'd like to think his personal hygiene might be better.
I don't think
You
so.
don't think so?
No. In fact, he was probably a little cleaner back then. I mean, he's married now. What's the point?
Right.
So
sleeping on the couch, it doesn't matter what your teeth look like. Cares.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday, Sam. You know? Yeah. All right. So we got MacLeod Ale Brewing Company on the program today. Brewery out of Los Angeles, L.A. County anyway, right? San Fernando?
Van Nuys.
Yeah, the Valley.
Oh, Van Nuys.
Yeah, it is L.A. County, though, yeah.
Yeah. So MacLeod Brewing Company. Cool thing about that is that we've got their beer here, and we've got our first cask ale at the Hop Grenade, thanks to MacLeod. So they brought a cask ale that's being served. It's right there on the bar. You can see it. If there's proof that it's in a cask, because you can see it. You can come on out to the Hop Grenade and watch the show and try the beer. We encourage you to do that during this show and every show that we do, because that's why we put the studio here. So we're going to taste some good, I guess they do all cask conditioned ales at the brewery.
Yep, real British ale.
So
except for made here.
Yeah, there you go. So MacLeod Brewing Company, they're with us today. We'll get to them in just a few minutes, and I'm happy to have them on the show. A few announcements to let you know. Our Indiegogo campaign to get us to Australia is coming to a close soon.
Uh-oh.
And we're still looking to maybe get some more brewcasters out there. Right now we've got Nathan, Tasty, myself, and Push is going. So nice. That allows us to go. Nathan and Tasty, I think, are going to do some presentations at the Homebrewers Conference. We're going to do a live show. Since Push is going, it allows us to do a live show from Australia and bring you back some video content and all sorts of good stuff. So you can still support us by going to our homepage and clicking on the On Tap there, and then just click the Indiegogo campaign, and you can support us.
And what does your going allow them to do?
You know, I don't know. And I think that they only invited me, to be honest with you.
To get to everybody else?
Yeah, because they knew that I would turn into a total asshole if they invited Nate and Tasty and not me. So
very wise.
Yeah, so they approached me first, and they were really good at it. They're good communicators, because they were like, yeah, we want you to come, and we just think, they spent a lot of time telling me how great it would be if I'd come. And then they sort of sneak in there. Yeah, so you come, but then Nathan does a presentation, so that would be really cool. So they didn't invite me to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, they know you.
Yeah.
They're clearly listeners.
These people know what they're doing. I tell you, they invited me to the inaugural one.
Oh yeah.
They haven't invited me back since.
Oh, no.
That's why I know they really know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
They're putting up quality.
Yeah. So
they didn't want an outbreak of shingles again. You know what I mean?
It's going to be fun, and we'd like to bring more brewcasters out there. So if you got an extra dime or so, you can see there's different levels. You get hats, and there's a special Australia BN Army T-shirt that we made.
It looks great,
and I think it's pretty
I do
cool.
say so myself.
I like it.
If you want to clarify, when do people get their? When do the donators get their prizes?
We are going to bring all the prizes with us on the plane to Australia. It's the only way we could afford to do it. Otherwise, we'd give away all of our donations in shipping. So we're bringing stuff on the plane with us, and then we'll essentially give it to people who arrive at the festival. These are Australian donors, of course. People who arrive at the festival can pick it up from us, or we'll actually ship it from within the country to the other Australian donors who are not going to the conference. You U.S. folks, as soon as we end the campaign and get all the merchandise in, Bevo will ship it to you. So you should get it, I guess I'd say by the end of October.
Okay. Definitely after the campaign ends.
After the campaign ends.
Cool.
Yeah. Everything happens after the campaign ends. And we don't know how many of the shirts to order yet and things like that. So, anyway, it's a great way to support us if you'd like to. If you're in the U.S., you just want to hear content from us putzing around over in Australia.
Right.
Or if you want to meet us, then you can do it that way as an Australian. All right. Also, let me let you know we're, of course, going to the Great American Beer Festival like we always do. That's happening the first week in October. It's October 2nd through the 4th. We will be streaming, once again, everything that happens in the Brewer Studio. So that's all the interviews and the panels and the games that we do from there all week long. And then the award ceremony. So you can root for your favorite breweries, or if you're a brewery, you want to turn it on in the brew house. We stream in HD. You can put it up on the big screen. A lot of people did that last year, I found out.
Yeah.
And we had over 3,500 breweries tune in to the awards, which is really cool.
That's like every brewery in the United States, isn't it?
It was, yeah. I guess they all weren't breweries, were they? There are a lot of people and then a bunch of breweries.
Oh, that was the number of viewers.
Good point. Yeah, viewers. Yes.
Okay, well, still probably.
I guess I said it because all of the people in the chat room with us seem to be at breweries or brewers.
Yeah, it could still be like 700 people and all the breweries.
Yeah, it still could be.
I do like hanging out in the chat and watching that because there are a lot of people who are, like you said, either from the brewery or good friends or supporters, and you get that kind of good-natured infighting in the chat room. People rooting for their state-specific brewery, or you can sit and root for the Pro-Am folks. Right?
That's true.
Like Nate and myself. Yeah.
You're both in it.
Yeah.
That's right.
No one cares.
In fact, we're having an event with your Pro-Am beers here the Tuesday after GABF.
Oh, good to know.
So it'll be your beer with Flat Tail, I believe, will be here. And there's a Drake's beer with Nathan.
Yeah.
There is a beer with...
we could
Iron Springs that one of the Doe's members, Jeremy, brewed.
Oh, wow.
We're going to have that on tap. And
I know
one more.
Andy Johnson has one from, Kevin Pratt's brewery, Santa Barbara Brewing.
Oh, okay.
We could throw in some Taffel Bully from Staley.
Oh.
Is that a Pro-Am?
Yeah.
It was.
Started out at.
now we enter it as one of our core beers.
Sure. We're okay with it not being this year's Pro-Am. We kind of want to do a Pro-Am night where we just get
the whole thing.
pros and amateurs together. That's the important part. It's not the...
Right.
That's a great beer, too.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do that. I think it's October 7th is the date. It's
Sounds about right.
Whatever that second Tuesday, or the Tuesday after GABF. Anyhow, watch all the awards. Just it'll be on our On Tap page next week, so you know where to click the link to watch everything at GABF. You can support us by shopping at Amazon. Just click the Amazon link right there on our homepage. It's a great way to support. You don't have to spend any extra money. Just do your shopping as normal. We have an Amazon product of the week, Moscow?
Sure. Somebody bought Harry Potter, the complete 8-film collection on Blu-ray. I'm wondering if it was Bevo.
It was not me.
She already owns it.
I already
hard to
own
believe.
it.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Maybe you bought a set for Sam for his birthday so that he had his own set.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't waste that kind of money on Sam.
Well, whoever bought it is going to receive all 8 Harry Potter movies, including Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows 1 and 2.
Azkaban.
What'd I say?
I don't know.
It's my favorite new strain. In any case, we got $3.86 from the $51 purchase price. Thank you, and keep it up.
Has anybody besides Bevo seen all of those movies? There are really
JP's
8.
hand flew up.
There are really
7.
8 of them?
No, there's 7.
Oh, 7. 7?
Yeah.
Were they all in the theater?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Popular.
This complete
No,
8-film
there's 8.
collection.
Is there 8?
Well,
Yeah,
it says
because the last book they broke into 2 films.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Well, technically,
Of course.
you could probably make it. Yeah.
That slipped by me.
8. There you go.
See, Tasty's like, shit, I only have
My
7.
wizard costume was at the cleaners or something.
They were good movies.
Tasty's like, oh, that's why the ending doesn't make sense.
I would give up a lot of things to see Tasty in a wizard costume. You know? All right. Subscribe and join the BN Army. You just click the donate button if you become a recurring donor. You get entered into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway, and that's where we draw a name for $100 to More Beer. And you always get contacted via email, so if you haven't been contacted, you haven't won. Don't worry. But we draw a name each and every month, and it's fun to see. Sometimes we recognize the names. That's always cool to see. I think Brew Tattoo just won this last one.
Oh, good.
Which is great because Brew Tattoo's been donating for a while, and he's at a high level on the monthly donor thing, so it's nice to see everybody rewarded. But we reward all of you for donating, just by drawing a random name. So just click the subscribe button. Get all these updates and more over on Twitter, and hey, send your show ideas over to Scott the Juice, Scott@thebrewingnetwork.com, and send feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. Do we have a Twitter game today?
We do, Justin.
Let's do Twitter, brought to you today by Keystone Homebrew Supply. Good friends over at Keystone Homebrew Supply. Strong supporters of the program, doing good things out there. Check them out at Keystone Homebrew Supply. What's our Twitter game?
Well, as you may or may not be aware of, Justin, since you were jaunting around Europe,
yes.
It is wet hop season, or therefore slowly approaching wet hop season here in America. And the BN, I've noticed, is we're growing up a little bit. We're starting to take more control in what we say and the words we use and all that kind of stuff. So
our balls are getting lower.
Yes, I would imagine so.
There was the lack of control right there.
Oh,
Still coming through.
Oops.
It's fine. But I've realized that I think the term wet hop is a little offensive and sophomoric. Wet hop. It's very offensive. It's very highly charged. It might be even a little sexist.
Sexist, yeah, yes. Borderline sexist.
For sure.
It is?
So I'd like for us to come up with another name for this brewing term. Not wet hop. Wet hop is like, it sounds like a strip club or something like that. Let's elevate ourselves a little bit, would you guys?
All right.
Like rusty hop bone or what?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
You guys see in the news maybe we even talked about this, but my memory's going as we get older, JP.
Yeah.
This strip club, brew pub thing in the news?
No.
You didn't see that? Yeah, I don't remember.
I wish I thought of it.
Everybody knows about it already because they sent me email. You know, of course, everyone knows how much I love strip clubs. So they sent me emails. It's in the news. Very controversial, because beer people they get so serious about beer. You can't have a brew pub and strippers. That doesn't respect the beer, which I think is a stupid thing to say.
What about female brewers?
I mean, only if they're like squirting it out over the audience, leaning back and shooting it in an arc. Then I could see maybe there would be a little bit of a problem. At least they're using craft beer. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Here's the line.
Been crossed or what?
Oh, it's
I'd
waving at you from a distance.
I think I'd rather see that than the old ping pong ball trick.
Right.
Fill a pint from across the stage.
At least when you're catching the stream in your mouth, it's craft beer. Something nice.
Yeah.
Delicious. Hoppy IPA. Something. You don't want them using like
no.
Some Corona or something.
No, who wants to drink that?
I mean, what is it? What is it they use in Tijuana, Bevo?
Do you remember?
When they do that? You don't remember?
Remember from your last career?
No, I don't.
What bottles?
Well, I don't know. I just saw people, beer nerds complaining about it, and I don't know. I hate it when everyone gets so serious about their beer. It drives me crazy. Relax, it's beer.
What was the issue? I still don't understand.
It's not that it's not respecting craft beer. It's just that it's a gimmick for the strip club, and
sure. I
don't care.
You don't think
it's two of my favorite things on planet Earth?
Yeah, you don't think a steak buffet is a gimmick for a strip club or a $1 beer or
doesn't
whatever?
Respect the steak. The bulls don't like it.
Oh God!
The cows don't like strippers. Don't you know that? Doesn't that argument sound silly?
Yeah.
To me, the argument is equivalent when people start taking their beer so seriously.
Well,
they go, you shouldn't put. We're trying to elevate craft beer, and then you just make it a strip club. That's not elevating
it. Well, it kind of makes sense because the strippers probably don't respect themselves either, so it works. It's a symbiotic thing.
Well, I'll give you.
You can't have one thing respecting itself and the other, having daddy issues.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I bet you they name their beers things like Daddy Issues IPA.
They got to do a beer with cinnamon in it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Main stage.
Yeah. Yeah, the main stage pale ale.
Cherry porter.
So gross.
Sugar
Just
Daddy
stop.
Say-song.
Champagne room, rustic brown ale. I don't know.
Yeah, no sex in the champagne room, rustic brown. Is that what you mean? I don't know. It's now on the top of my places that I want to travel to.
Where is it?
I forget.
Martinez.
I want to say Ohio or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to Google it. I can't find it. Stripper, brewery, brew pub, boobs,
strip
whatever
club.
I search for. I'm
Really?
telling you, it doesn't come up.
What is coming up?
Beers such as Stripper Ale, American Blonde from Coast Range Brewing Company.
Hillbilly Stripper Red Ale.
I got it right here.
There you go.
HIVPA.
That's a good beer name. Right?
That came from the chat.
I found it because I used Bing and not Google.
Oh.
What were your words? What did you search for?
Brew pub strip club.
Really?
Wow.
Just look for that.
No, you look for stripper.
So is it in? See, there you go. A great photo of
Those
a couple of
strippers-
strippers with some kegs.
Those strippers don't work
Those
in
are breasts.
Ohio. Let me just tell you.
It does it say where it is, JP? Can you tell if it's in Ohio?
Oh, the name is called Pinups and Pints.
Oh, perfect name.
Very cheesy.
Seems very classy.
Yeah, see, it's respectful. It's not like it was called, Vages and Lager.
Oh, I want to go here.
The club in question is Pinups and Pints, attuned to Dayton's brewing scene, Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. Looks like I'm going to Ohio, kids.
Oh, I'm sorry. The club is in Medway, just north of where I-675 dead ends into I-70. This person is a
that's
spot-on article writer.
Journalist?
I see a remote happening in our
I also
near
prefer
future.
article writer. I'm a radio talker. And, for example.
Should we talk on the radio from this place? Should we do a remote?
I generally don't like doing remotes, but I think I could be persuaded to do a remote from, what's it called? Pints and Puss?
Pinups and Pints.
That's what I forgot the name.
Is it full nudity?
Pinups and Pints.
I don't know. I imagine
what
since it's
level of
alcohol,
nudity?
it's probably topless only.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
You
Interesting.
don't need full nudity ever. It's
Well, that's state by state, by the way.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. California, that's the law, but I don't know
Pinup
about
Pale Ale is the inaugural beer.
Of course. There you go. Yeah. Well,
This is the quote from the owner. If I'm going to have it, it might as well make it good.
he's a smart guy, I think, and that sounds like he's respecting.
Might
That
as
even
well.
makes sense.
beer.
So my lap dance.
If I'm gonna, he was definitely not sober during that quote. Might as well be good.
There you go.
All right.
Talking
Anyhow,
about the beer.
That's even worse.
all right. Anyway, thanks for the Twitter game, JP.
You're very welcome.
Good job there. All right. Well, I could save feedback for the end of the program. We'll do
Okay.
feedback then. We don't have Doc here to yell about it. Doc was in Doc form last week on the program.
Oh, I missed it.
You did miss it. I was kind of glad you missed it because, right, Tasty?
Yeah,
I mean, he was.
he's in Doc form, yeah.
The problem sometimes is when he tries to engage in the interview. It's how there's the end of the show, Doc, and that's fine. It's
Sure.
but when he tries to engage in the interview, watching a question come out of his mouth is like pulling teeth, so to speak.
I know exactly what you're talking. It's like
the clown who keeps pulling the rope out of the
handkerchief?
the handkerchief
Yeah.
that keeps going on forever, and
Yeah.
it just keeps, and it's going to end soon, but it never does.
Right.
That's Doc asking interview questions.
He doesn't know what the question is. He starts
in dark.
because he
Doc
wants
form.
to ask a question, but doesn't know what it is to get into it.
Yeah. It was, and it's hard for me because I'm here and I can see Doc asking a question, but out of the corner of my eye, I can also see the looks on the faces of the guests.
Oh, they were in studio.
They're in studio. And the look isn't exactly a look of horror, but it's definitely bewilderment.
Right.
And like, what the fuck? And they look at me. Like, they look back and forth at me. They'll look at Doc and then back at me.
Sure,
like,
you're its owner.
Are you going to do something about this?
You're like, I'm
You're the owner of the dog.
Your dog
off
is
the leash.
peeing on me.
Yeah. It's dry humping my leg.
It's very uncomfortable
It's
for me.
like when you talk to somebody with a really thick accent, and then there's somebody who knows this person well who can interpret, and you're just looking at you.
And
like,
they're looking, and I'm like, I got nothing. I don't know what the question was either.
Great.
It didn't help that we were drinking the guests' Belgian triple that was coming in at like 9% and change.
Right.
my God.
And
Right.
Doc was working on number 4, about the time he started asking questions. And amazingly, you'll like this, JP. Justin had 2 of them.
I had
Of
2
a
Belgian
Belgian
triples.
triple.
It was good.
I thought it was Belgian IPAs you don't like.
No, well, that too, but I actually don't like Belgian doubles or triples.
Oh, I
I've never
didn't know
seen
that.
him drink that style.
I don't like strong estery beers, and this one was certainly estery, but not to a point where it offended my palate. I quite liked it. It was a Shoe Bros beer.
Okay, good.
And it was a nice Belgian triple.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had 2, and I mean, I was feeling good too, but I feel like at
But
least
you know
I
where to
could
cut it off.
I could finish a question.
Right.
we actually, JP and I contemplated calling in.
Yes, we did actually.
I'm kind of glad we opted against that.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have helped.
No, I feel like your head might have exploded all over the place.
Mine had definitely would explain. He did that to me a couple weeks ago. We were doing a Dr. Homebrew, and he happened to be in here pre-Burning Man, doing some pre-Burning Man planning.
Okay.
And he just
Drinking.
just walks in and sits down. And like my guys are like, "Hey, Doc, what's going on?" And there's a guest in here, and then Doc, I'm like, "Here, have this beer." And he's like, "Blah." But he starts to engage, and he was kind of spot on. So his palate is still pretty decent when he's hammered.
Yeah.
But you have to focus so hard on what he's trying to say. It's like watching a program on BBC or like some sort of Scottish program where you have to concentrate so hard because they're talking English, but you can't really make the words out. You have to.
Right, you can't
you're always
understand through the accent.
Yeah, you're 4 words behind trying to catch up. That's what it was. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude. And then he just walks out. Awesome. You did good, buddy.
It's hard because sober Doc is no fun. So I don't want that either. I don't want him sitting in here all sober. But then that Doc is like, it's hard to conduct the interview.
Yeah.
There's about 5 minutes of Doc that is the perfect radio Doc.
From like
right?
6:45 to 6:51, he's spot on.
Can we give him his own show? Like, just to do whatever, like the doc
So he would
hour.
be the host.
Yeah.
He would have to run the thing.
Yes.
Would it be called ADD?
Just whatever he wants to talk about for like half an hour.
It's not a bad idea.
Maybe once a month, whenever he can do it. Kind of one of those one-off things we talked about.
So it doesn't have to be about beer or
it could
anything.
be about
It would just be
anything.
Doc and the Grateful Dead playing in the background, and Doc just rambling hammered.
No, because he'll take it.
Yes.
He'll take.
Darwin.
We have to make the requirement that he has to drink then, because what
Yes.
he'll do is he'll take it seriously.
No.
and we need him to not take it
Correct.
seriously.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. I
in
mean-
fact, the show doesn't have an official start time.
Yeah.
We have to sit with him and we tell him when he's allowed to start.
Just don't tell him that he's doing a show.
Yeah,
Just tell him to come down, have some beers, and then just
We'll call it Doc's,
Not a bad
have him
idea.
sit down and start drinking.
Doc's legacy.
Yeah.
He's leaving his legacy behind for his kids. Recorded.
Spreading it all over the internet.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. The chat reminded me I should send my show ideas to Scott at thebrewingnetwork.com.
That's right. He'll get them in for you. All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to MacLeod Ale Brewing Company, and you can get their beer on tap right now at the Hop Grenade if you come on down. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Are you a member of the American Homebrewers Association? Well, you should be. Members of the AHA can focus on brewing beer, and the AHA takes care of the rest. The American Homebrewers Association advocates on behalf of homebrewers like you to legalize the hobby in all 50 states and make sure that beer laws make sense. Plus, there are many great benefits that come with your AHA membership, like pub discounts that give you awesome deals at bars, restaurants, breweries, and more. Zymergy Magazine and eZymergy for tons of articles, how-tos, easy-to-follow recipes, and news about the hobby you love. And access to the members-only content on homebrewersassociation.org. But the AHA can't do it without your support. Join today so the American Homebrewers Association can keep fighting for your home brewing rights. Visit homebrewersassociation.org or join right now from the homepage of the Brewing Network website. Relax. Don't worry. It's the American Homebrewers Association.
Hi, I'm Jamel Zainasheff, and in addition to my work on the Brewing Network, I write the Style Profile column in every issue of Brew Your Own magazine.
Hi, I'm Sean Paxton, and when I'm not prepping for the Homebrewed Chef on the Brewing Network, you can find me writing articles on how to cook with your homebrew for Brew Your Own magazine.
Greetings, cretins. This is John Palmer, and when I'm not writing for Brew Your Own, I'm reading it.
John Palmer, Sean Paxton, Jamil Zainasheff. If you love listening to them on the Brewing Network, you'll love reading their articles, tips, and recipes in the pages of Brew Your Own magazine. Join Jamil, John, and Sean 8 times a year in Brew Your Own. And when you subscribe to BYO on the Brewing Network website, half of your subscription price goes right back to the BN to support great beer and food programming. So sign up for Brew Your Own magazine through the BN website today so you can listen and read your way to better homebrew.
Hi, I'm Jason Harris, the proud owner here at Keystone Homebrew Supply. We're thrilled to be entering our 20th year of supplying this great industry. And to show you, the Brewing Network Army, how much we appreciate your support, we're offering you 10% off your first order on our website, KeystoneHomebrew.com. Just use coupon code BNARMY at checkout, and I'll get your order out the same day. My goal at Keystone Homebrew Supply has always been to have a complete supply of everything a brewer could want. When you place your order online or when you come into our store, it's our goal to have everything on your list and more. One aspect of KeystoneHomebrew.com that we're really excited about is the ability to fulfill customers' exact grain bills. Do you hate to wait? Keystone Homebrew Supply can get your precious yeast and hops to you within just one day if you live between Connecticut and Virginia, and within 2 days east of the Mississippi. KeystoneHomebrew.com. Coupon code BNARMY. I'm Jason Harris, and I approve this message.
Tuned into this session because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, welcome back to the program. Thanks for hanging out with us, too. We got a lot to do tonight, and we've got some beer to drink. I'm getting more beer in front of me right now, which is crucial to the running of this program.
It wouldn't run without it.
It would not. This show would not run without beer. I'm trying to think. Now that I'm thinking of it, quickly,
Are you going to hurt yourself?
In 9 years,
yes,
I don't think I've ever done a show without drinking. Any show, not one single show.
That's good trivia. That's long-term trivia.
I have come in more hungover than the last time I was hungover. I'm feeling terrible, awful. But never thought, well, maybe I should not drink during today's show. The thought has never even crossed my mind.
I think that's not true. I believe there's maybe from the garage days.
There might be one?
I think so.
Impossible.
Maybe one, maybe two. I don't know that.
Well, we better go find out.
Have happened.
It's some of the 8 a.m. Jamel shows you did without drinking.
But I wasn't really a host during that.
Right.
I don't need beer to, run the board. I just need beer.
I think you were still feeling it by 8 a.m. when we were doing the show. You were still running on fumes.
So I still wasn't sober, is the point.
No, not even close.
Right.
Not even close.
Okay. Yeah. All right, well, we got a great show planned for you, and right now we got MacLeod Ale Brewing Company in the studio with us. We've got Jennifer and Alistair Bowes on the program. Thanks for being in here with us.
Thanks for having us.
Fantastic to be here.
You drove up from L.A. to be here.
Beautiful downtown Van Nuys.
Downtown Van Nuys. Wonderful. Have you guys lived in Van Nuys for a while? Or
we lived in a community very close called Sherman Oaks.
Oh, yeah.
And Van Nuys is like 7 minutes from there.
Okay. Now, there's still not a lot of breweries in L.A., right? I mean,
no, 5.
Seven. Seven now, yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Which to this day really kind of blows my mind with the population, and it's not like, people don't like beer in L.A. They do like craft beer, but not many breweries opened up.
No, not yet.
Huh.
But hopefully soon.
And when did you guys open?
We opened in mid-June, so we're just a baby.
Of this year?
Yeah, we're not even 3 months in.
Right. Well, same as the Hop Grenade. We're barely that old also. So, and when did you start planning the brewery?
A little bit before 2012, probably 2011, it really started to develop into an idea. And then 2012, I did, started incorporating, doing all the paperwork, and we've been working on it since then.
It takes a while to get going. Did you expect it to take a couple years?
No, even though everyone told us, we were like, oh, well, that was just them. It's just we're gonna get it done so fast. So,
we're laughing because we felt the same.
Yeah.
We're like, what could really take that long? You guys are idiots.
Although I think we keep being told it really did take us a pretty short period of time, all things being considered, right? I mean, we hear 2 years. Can you imagine?
No.
Would it take us 8 months? It felt like an eternity.
Yeah, I'd have slit my wrist if it took 2 years. That's a long time.
Yeah, no, it took us 2.5.
But it's stuff out of your control is what ends up happening, right?
Very
just
much
things
so.
that just you don't expect. They're hard to plan for. That's what happens.
Took us 6 or 7 months just to find a building, actually.
Okay.
And you can't even start doing anything if you don't have a building.
Sure. And did you know that you wanted it to be in that area right off the bat?
No, we had sort of a triangle mapped out between the 405, Pasadena, and downtown LA. Kind of made a nice triangle. So Van Nuys is actually the last place we wanted to end up, but we're really happy to be there now. So sorry, people from Van Nuys. I don't want to offend anyone, but we're really happy to be there now. But originally, we thought we'd be in a more hip area.
Yeah. Where were you guys looking?
We were looking in Pasadena and, just various little suburbs of LA that, are kind of warehousey and hip.
Okay.
But, there's, problems came up. There's zoning issues and you could find a good building, but it was too close to a church or a school or the landlord just didn't want, parking problems, or we looked near the Van Nuys Airport, actually.
Okay.
Even Burbank Airport. There's just little pockets of industrial zones. All
over that place. So you guys are right off the 405, it looks like.
Near the 405, there was a railroad track that ran through the valley, which has now been turned into a busway. It's no longer a railroad track, but a lot of the areas beside the road track are grandfathered in as industrial zones. So,
because of that.
Yeah, so it's really cool because we're close to downtown area. We're not as remote as some
still
breweries
zoned
are.
as industrial.
Yeah.
Is it just a brewery or brew pub?
It's just a brewery with a tasting room.
With a tasting
Pretty
room.
big tasting room.
Okay.
The tasting room's bigger than the brewery. So about 2/3 tasting room and 1/3 brewery.
Was that the plan as well?
We actually even reduced the size of the tasting room, because of fire marshal issues and whatnot. We had to get it down because we only have one exit, so it had to be under 49 people.
Got it. But a tasting room is a big deal for a brewery nowadays. Jamil can attest to this too. It makes a big difference in the bottom line when you can sell your beer.
It's huge because you're buying it at the manufacturer rate, and then you're selling it at retail, right?
Yeah. And the fact that people really want to come and drink at breweries, they want to be in a tasting room, so they seek it out as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. So it's not a bad decision to make it have a large capacity.
No, I mean, it's, you either start without a tasting room and it didn't cost you as much to get open, but it's way harder to sell your beer and you're not making as much.
Sure.
Or you spend the money up front and get the tasting room and you have a lot of debt, but you're making more on the beer. So it's kind of, I don't know which one is better, but
you'll find out.
That's the decision we made. Yeah.
Right.
Is it only your beer on there? You got guest beer?
No, we can only serve our own beer because we're Type 23 license, and we can only serve our own.
Okay. All right. Well, when people go to a brewery, I think that's what they want anyway. If you move to a brew pub setting, I think where there's a restaurant, I think it makes sense to have other people's beer. But yeah, when I go to Heretic too, I don't want to order someone else's beer. I want a Heretic. So that makes sense. What did you guys do before opening a brewery?
I hadn't worked for a long time because I have 2 boys and I was really lucky to be able to stay home and raise them.
Excellent.
And Alistair is my new husband. So I have 2 kids with another.
How new is he?
5 years.
5 years.
So almost right out of the package.
Yeah.
As far as
the warranty's still good.
Yeah, he's not worth trading in yet.
No.
Did you get the extended warranty? Because
no.
No, bummer.
So he was landscaping, and I had a long time ago before I had kids, I was in advertising actually.
Okay.
And I needed to find a way of making my own income.
Yeah. Okay.
I was kind of cut off.
Why beer? What attracted you to beer?
A lot of different things, and I don't want to, do a long, boring story, but basically a lot of different ingredients went into the pot, and brewery came out. So essentially, I play in a pipe band, and a lot of bagpipers love beer.
Yeah.
We had an opportunity to go to San Diego a bunch of times, so my good friends Julie and Rebecca turned me on to craft beer. We would go to Stone Brewing or all those San Diego breweries once a year because we have a big competition down there.
Okay.
So that started it, and we have a friend who kind of has a little illicit pub in his house, and just like a variety of different influences just started to make me realize that might be a good
business.
A good business, yeah, that makes people happy, and the whole social aspect, it just really appealed to me. And then Alistair, I wouldn't have done it by myself, but Alistair as a landscaper had a lot of skills, design skills and plumbing skills, and he's always telling me how much he loves machinery and fixing things. And so it just all I started to realize we could make a good team.
Yeah.
And do something wild and crazy.
A brewery is a giant plumbing endeavor, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, there's some electrical.
Plumbing and electrical. If you got those two things, making the beer, the yeast does that.
Yeah,
right?
janitorial, But I guess you could do that after you were built.
Yeah, anyone can learn that. So did you help to build the brewery then, Alistair?
Yeah, no, I was very much involved from the very beginning. Landscaping does actually include a lot of electrical. As a landscaper, I was more than a horticulturalist. I was actually involved in all the type of construction you put in your garden. Patios, even water features, lighting.
Okay.
The structures you put in a garden. So I had a lot of experience all around, so I was able to apply them. And very much the aspect of designing and drafting plans and going to the city, getting the planning permission and the building safety and all that.
Yeah.
So I had the temperament to do that because that was a struggle getting through that.
That's a big deal. I got to admit that stuff to me was just completely foreign, and it's daunting when you look at the amount of paperwork and the requirements. But if you're used to it from a construction background, I guess it's not daunting.
Yeah, no, it was okay for me because I realized that you just have to sort of bite your lip and just try to not get emotional with the people that are trying to stop you doing what you want to do.
Right.
And you go away, you go away and get what they want, and you just have the patience to go through all the steps or the extra steps that they want to make you do. And then you struggle and you struggle and you struggle and persevere, and you just eventually they suddenly decide this guy has been through the ringer. He has paid his dues.
Right.
Now we'll just grant the thing, and suddenly you think, what, that's it? Now it's just like, you got it?
It's funny, they don't tell you that that's the requirement, but now that you put it that way, you realize that's the requirement.
Right. Trial by fire.
We would collect all the little, numbers that you get every time you go to the city, and we made like a big, mural.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. That's funny. And you guys worked with, on the actual building of the brewery, a guest that we've had on the program. In fact, his name is pretty well known in helping people build breweries on their own, Tom Hennessy.
Yes, Tom, who, maybe it's a little known fact that he's actually a bagpiper as well.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So that's how you knew him before?
No, we found that out when we got there.
Okay.
It's shocking. He has pictures to prove it and everything.
Nice. So what did you do? Did you hear about him and contact him for help, or?
Yeah, just like everyone else. I just was, looking for direction. Like, we had this idea, and now how do we implement it? And Tom's immersion program came up, and I thought, wow, that sounds like fun. So we did that. We had a blast.
So just as a reminder to our listeners, Tom Hennessy is there's a DVD.
He did back in the mid-'90s. That was Frankenbrew, converting dairy equipment to brewing equipment, basically. And then he did a book, I think just a couple of years ago, called A Brewery Operations Manual.
Okay.
Did you read that one, Jenny?
That one, he actually, when we were at his place, he was just getting the rough drafts. And so, we ordered it right when it came out. But we'd just been through his program, so it was just kind of like he took notes for us.
He's kind of like he's a great DIY helper for people who want to start a brewery and not go buy $1 million brewery, right?
Yeah.
He helps you put it together on things that you can find.
Yeah.
Right.
He also he has a very easygoing manner, and he's very reassuring, and he's very easygoing guy. So he just makes you feel like you can do it. No problem. It's easy. No problem.
Oh, good. Well, you need that.
Yeah.
Especially with everything else, because it always feels like, what do you mean no problem? Everything's a problem.
Yeah.
This whole project is a problem.
Lots of problems.
So that's nice
And then
to
after
see.
dealing with the city, it's probably a real treat.
Yeah. So how do you decide what size brewery you need? What was this process for you two?
The biggest one you can afford, which wasn't very big for us.
Was that advice from other people saying to you, or just something you figured out along the way?
No, I think that was kind of my comfort level. It's like I really wasn't comfortable taking on a huge project.
Okay.
I just kind of, I read a lot of blogs. I read every blog of every brewery. I was very interested in reading the Hess blog. Mike Hess Brewing did a wonderful job of his blog. And so I would read certain blogs and I would think like, okay, I could manage that, or that seems like something I could, just emotionally handle. That size seems good. So
it's a pretty good way to think about it, I got to tell you.
What size did you end up with?
We're 7 barrels.
Okay. And is it made up of various pieces of equipment, the Tom Hennessy way of building a brewery, or did you buy a complete brewery and
Well, we started getting equipment before we met Andy, and so a lot of that equipment was definitely Tom Hennessy-esque. I would actually even send Tom ads like, how does this tank look? How does that tank look? And he would give me feedback. And so we got a few tanks that way. So we actually had some tanks before we found Andy, our brewer.
Okay. We're going to talk to Andy about the beer a bit later.
Yeah. And then so when Andy came on board, he hadn't met Tom, and he had his own experience working with breweries in England. And so he brought that experience to it. So we tried to kind of forge something in the middle of something like how Andy wanted to do it and how we wanted to do it via Tom. We came up with, I think, some good compromises. So some of our equipment is Frankenbrew and some of it is brand spanking new.
Okay, got it. So let's take some of that, for example, just because I'm curious, and I'm curious about how it got built. Your kettle, for example, was that a regular brew kettle, or did you make something?
Yeah, let me talk about that. That is definitely the part of the brewery that I loved, was building the thing and designing and converting and modifying dairy tanks. The kettle was I guess a 7-barrel, one would say, milk cooling tank.
Okay.
Didn't have a lid. It had a kind of a lid, but which was missing, so it wasn't suitable anyway. So we just cut off the remainder, and Andy was able to find a beautiful stainless steel lid that a local company welded on.
Okay.
And basically, it's a round vessel. All those old dairy tanks are super heavy duty and strong and well insulated. They originally had glycol chilling in the walls. It had a slightly convex bottom, which was a slight complication, but we managed to work with it. And it's a fantastic kettle. We put 2 electric elements in it, 18 kilowatts each, brings it to a boil nicely.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a great way to go, electric.
Yeah, we're a little bit inspired by the way in the UK all the power is double what we have here. So they naturally have more power, and electric is popular in the UK. And I talked to some people that I met over there. Oban Ales, a company up in the Highlands that make breweries for all the miscellaneous small little brewing operations all throughout the UK. And he was very encouraging and got a sense of how many kilowatts we needed, etc. So yeah, we did it and it worked, and it's pretty fantastic. We have the flue on it has it's kind of a dog-legged flue, which allows the condensate to drop to the ground behind the kettle.
Okay.
It's a simple thing that we fabricated from McMaster and Carr stainless steel tube and fittings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I ever saw that was recently in France. I saw a small brewery, and they had bought a very small brewery, but put it into a room that could not have a vent. There was no way to vent at all, really. And so, yeah, they had this sort of dog-legged escape, and there's this just bucket of water on the floor that's flowing over with water, but no big deal because it's just going down the floor drain.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I come in, and I go, what the fuck is that? And I had to look and figure out that it was the steam escaping, and they had no way to vent another way, and it was It was kind of ingenious, really. The room was hot, but it was an ingenious way to get rid of the
and it's
condensation.
It's stuff like that makes you think that you're a big dummy, right? Because we've both been around a number of breweries. We've seen it all. It's like, okay, the thing goes up to the sky.
Yeah.
But what's this pipe collecting water in a bucket? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Is some new ingenious brewing technique that we don't know? No, it's just
the guy
'cause
goes,
I can't drill a hole.
He's like, steam.
Yeah.
Oh. Got it.
It's steam in various states.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Condensation at that point.
Was it enough water to warrant looking into a way to recycle or somehow use that water?
Yeah, for sure.
Does anybody do that? Have you guys ever thought about that?
It's full of DMS and nasty
have stuff
crud. You don't want it.
You can use it for cleaning or something, couldn't you?
No,
not even that.
It's got too much crud.
Oh, okay.
Tom Hennessy would do something with that.
He would find a way.
Water your crops.
There you go.
He would distill it and then
water the crops. Now you did mention getting something welded on this kettle. Stainless steel is that what it's made out of? The whole thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Heavy duty, pretty thick gauge stainless steel, and we were actually able to we shopped around forever because welders in LA are $85 an hour.
Yeah.
And a lot of them wouldn't even do a fixed price. They all wanted hourly. And we were scared of that. But we eventually found a guy that was actually kind of prestigious because he's the welder for Anheuser-Busch.
Excellent.
The Van Nuys's other brewery.
Okay.
And he was obviously extremely competent. And he was reasonable. He was very fair. He gave us a fixed price. And other than being a bit too busy to get it done on time, other than that, it was fantastic.
See, I bring that up because when you start a project, if you haven't done something like this before, like we hadn't done something like this tap house before, you think things are common, like finding a welder.
Yeah.
But we ran into some issues, too. I go, well, just, I don't know, fucking Google somebody and get a welder. It's not that easy.
No.
To find somebody qualified. And then, of course, you bring up the price issue to find something in your budget. It's just not as... Some things you take for granted. What do you mean I can't find a welder? Everybody welds.
Yeah.
But stainless is particularly difficult to weld, and it takes a particular skill. So anyway, these things are amazing.
This is Andy.
Andy, the brewer's here with us, too. Yeah.
If I can chime in about the welding.
Yeah.
Too late. You get things... Yeah, right? This is with the welding, too. You basically... They're going to put the tank together for you, but you also have to tell them how to put the tank together.
Right.
So you might have an education in brewing, but you also now need to tell them how to construct a tank from a fundamental level.
Okay. Yeah.
So you got a good price, and then they have no idea what you want them to do.
Yeah.
You thought it was just a lid to go on a tank, to make it a tank with a lid. And they're like, no. It needs to be X shape with this amount of drop and this gauge of stainless steel. And
so finding someone who's done it before is probably worth the extra time.
Well, they knew how to do it. They knew exactly what wedge wire plating was and whatnot, but you still have to tell them exactly how to make the tank.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about tank design, and we're having to basically build the freaking tank for them, at least from a design standpoint.
Yeah.
So it was kind of good that we got a little bit of runaround from the city because I got to learn how to. I learned how to construct tanks from the ground up.
Right.
Oh, Andy designed the lid, and it's a work of art. It's really
excellent.
great, and Andy. All of us have learned so much, but Andy and Alistair really outdid themselves.
You need that. I'll be honest with you. I can't tell anyone how to do exactly anything. Everything is in generalities for me. I go, what do you mean? I don't know. It's like kind of shaped like this, and I don't measure the circumference.
It has
and
a thing on it.
Yeah, you've seen it before.
Yeah.
Go for it.
It may or may not have lights. It's fine.
And I really work that way. So when I have to, I know exactly what you mean when they come back and go, no, man, that's not going to cut it. You really got to tell me everything. It's like learning a whole new skill. So
it was pretty much he wanted like step 1, step 2, step 3, and even though you have a perfect, well, at least I would say perfect. Alistair's much better at drawing exact idiot-proof plans than I am.
Okay, yeah.
But you think you've put step 1, step 2 absolutely idiot-proof. They still mess up something like I can't remember what it was, but it was just something so fundamental. It was like, how did you miss that? Oh, it's because it has the slightly convex bottom. I just hope people that understand kettle geometry are going to think about this one for a second. Electric elements plus needing to put a filter plate in the bottom to remove hops.
Okay.
You need to be able to get those filter plates out, but then you've got 2 big, long electric elements in there.
Okay.
and it becomes a mess really quickly. And
the elements go under or above the filter plate?
Above the filter plate.
Okay. I see. So that's the trouble getting it out.
You have to figure out how to get those plates out and then out of the manway so you can clean them, and they didn't build the plates correctly. So we have great knockout right now, but our first knockouts took over an hour because we couldn't actually filter out the hops. We had these filter plates made that filtered nothing.
Yeah.
Except your time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right. It was like 2 months lost designing these stupid-ass plates that didn't do anything.
See, and this is something that I always found interesting because the contractors or the people that you're dealing with, they tell you, this is an exact thing. We need exact measurements. We need exact design from you. And then when stuff comes back a little fucked up, they go, well, listen, it's construction. It's a moving target. It's not very exact. Sometimes we have to work with things. And I'm like, now, wait a second. That's not what you said to me 3 weeks ago when you asked for the exact things. And now you're saying, it's kind of a moving target. We'll get there, It's frustrating.
And not knowing about engineering, you just assume I had an engineer friend. They said they needed the cutting the file to make the filter plates in a AutoCAD program.
Yeah,
like I studied social sciences. I don't know anything about AutoCAD. AutoCAD is the same as all other AutoCAD programs, but this file type wasn't good enough, and they tell us the day before they're going to start cutting on like Thursday night or something.
Oh, yeah, like at 7 p.m. on Thursday night, they're like, oh, we can't open the file. It's like, hey, we sent that to you 2 weeks ago. Maybe you could have tried to open it.
Yeah.
You realize why larger companies with more capital are so successful because they can really sort of plan for these things. If someone says you need this to be an AutoCAD, you go hire an AutoCAD professional. But in small business, it's not that easy. You figure it out, or it doesn't get done.
It's definitely a funding issue, right? If you have unlimited funds, you just here's a bunch of money, get it done, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so it's a difference between product rollout locally or product rollout nationwide, right? For a lot of stuff, not just beer, but for stuff like that, it's like, well, look, we're going to pay you a bunch of money if you fix it. Yeah, you don't have time to fix it.
All that does is insulate you from the level of people that are trying to figure it out. Right? So you just moved yourself a couple layers up. You pay somebody to talk to the person who's Googling welder and then trying to come up with drawings and figure out AutoCAD at the last minute.
Somebody's still figuring it out.
You just don't see that.
Right.
Yeah. You spend more money because then they do it a couple of times and then they get it right.
Okay.
Right. How to open .cad document.
Yeah.
Bing.
Right. How to speak to the city. Every little step of the way. Well, you guys got there. It sounds like you have a good team, and I think that's part of small business too, right? Is that not any one person does all of it. You all bring different skills to the table. So
that's probably my best skill is putting together a team. I've done it before a couple times, and I'm pretty proud of my team.
Nice.
Are you three the main people running the company at this point, or are there several others working with you as well?
We're the main ones running it, but we have an excellent taproom manager, and we have an assistant brewer who's putting in some good apprentice time right now.
Okay, good.
And
you need that.
Yeah, and he also works in the tap room, and we have a few other.
The apprentice allows me to sleep.
Yeah, we have a few other tap. Yeah, initially Andy designed the whole brewery so like he could be run by one person. But after a few batches, I think he realized
sometimes you have to do taxes and cellarmanship work, which takes some time away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How old are your sons?
My sons are 20 and 18 now.
Have they expressed interest in getting into this awesome biz?
No,
Mom's part of
are you kidding? It's Moms. That's not cool.
Oh, it's lame now, is it?
That's not cool.
Oh no, they're buying Bud Light because you've ruined.
They're more in the Alco Pops.
You've ruined craft beer for them.
To get out of here. They think it's lame. They don't.
No,
do they?
I think they think it's cool, but not cool enough for them. They want to do their own thing.
Okay,
sure,
they do.
How old are they?
I did have one of them work there for about a week. He kind of spent a little time in town between, during the summer, and he worked there for a week, and he thought it was really fun.
Okay.
But
yeah. Well, you didn't have him shoveling grain then.
No, that's kind of fun. I like that job.
Kegs. Yeah, he wasn't cleaning kegs.
He was washing dishes, and that's kind of fun because our dishwashing sink is right at the bar, so it's actually that's my favorite job, actually.
So you watch it tap it in? And
yeah, I wash the glasses, and I just talk to so many customers and get to know them, and it's just like a really cool place to hang out and get to meet the customers and talk to them. And
okay.
Yeah.
And Alistair, do you still have your other gig, or are you full-time at the brewery as well?
Yeah, no, I'm full-time.
Okay.
I gave up the landscaping, and I did do a little job in Bel Air, putting a gas line for an old customer that really wanted it done right.
And your skills, okay.
Yeah.
So a little homage to some old customers. That's cool.
Yeah.
I asked that question because I feel like starting a business like this, you need all hands on deck.
Totally.
But oftentimes you can't afford to have all hands on deck, so people keep their day gigs anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I'm lucky because I actually get a lot of income all my income from royalties.
Oh.
My ex-husband wrote music for film and TV.
Really? Excellent.
So when we split up, that's
and it gets ongoing. It's not.
Yeah, it's ongoing. So otherwise, I would need a full-time job. I'm in a really great position to be able to have that income coming in where I don't have to.
You don't need a paycheck from the brewery yet.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's
almost up though.
Any music that we would know that you're getting royalties from?
Please say there's like a sitcom intro that he wrote.
Yeah.
He worked on Smallville.
That Seinfeld.
Worked on Smallville.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Excellent.
Was
Well,
that your
that's cool.
Was that your Seinfeld?
That's my Seinfeld. Bong, 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 ba-dum. That no, not even close.
No, I thought you were having a seizure.
Down.
I
don't know. I just was hoping that was the sitcom theme song.
I thought you were stuttering. down.
That's my Tourette's.
Don't hear it.
Yeah, it's my Tourette's coming back again. All right, well, we want to talk about the beer, too. We've got the beer in front of us. So how about this? I got to take a quick break, take care of some sponsors here. When we come back, we'll do some more tasting and talking about beer.
Yeah, I need more beer, dude.
All right. So hang in there. It's the session. We're talking to MacLeod Ale Brewing Company. You can go to MacLeod Ale. That's MacLeodale.com and check it out over there. You can learn about the brewery that way. Hit the chat button on the homepage and you can ask questions yourself. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
What'd you get? More brewing ingredients?
Yep. You know what I love about Brewmaster's Warehouse?
The $6.99 shipping?
Well, yeah, but...
Oh, the in-store classes for beginning brewers.
Yeah, that's cool, but...
Oh, the Brew Builder. Creating and saving your recipes online is awesome!
No, yes, but...
The cheese-making supplies.
No.
Oh, the wine-making supplies. Oh, the distilling equipment and liquor flavorings.
All that stuff is awesome, yes, but what I really love is that the guy who runs it is totally hot. And that Brew Builder software is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Brewmaster's Warehouse brings you flat rate shipping on great equipment and ingredients to make beer, wine, cheese, and spirits at brewmasterswarehouse.com. And if you're in Georgia, stop by Brewmaster's Warehouse Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6. Visit brewmasterswarehouse.com today because it's totally hot.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever dreamed of attending the World Brewing Academy? This year, thanks to Lallemand and Danstar, one lucky brewer will make that dream a reality for free. Lallemand and Danstar invite you to enter the Beer School 2015 contest. One lucky grand prize winner will receive fully paid tuition to the 2015 World Brewing Academy web-based concise course in brewing technology worth almost $4,000. From now until December 13th, 2014, every Danstar yeast packet you use is your ticket to enter. Visit danstaryeast.com for the details and to print your official entry form. There's no limit on the number of times you can enter, so get brewing with Danstar and get your entries in to the Danstar 2015 Beer School Contest. Whether you want to build your home brewing skills or build a career as a professional brewer, this course will change the way you think of beer and brewing. Enter at danstaryeast.com and get the dry yeast advantage with Danstar and Lallemand Premium Brewing Yeast and enter to win.
As a brewer, you already don't settle for second best. You want great tasting beer and you want great equipment to make it with. So don't settle for the second best grain mill. You want a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware. Monster Mills are tough, come in 2 and 3 roller designs, and are made right here in the USA from superior materials for longer lasting performance. Pick the mill that's right for you at monsterbrewinghardware.com and take Bevo's advice.
Trust me,
It's always better to have a bigger tool than you think you need.
Monster Mills have the best warranty in the business. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Visit monsterbrewinghardware.com now and check out all the mills and mill accessories. Don't settle for second best. Get a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware.
Tonight is the night.
We bring the creature to life, Dr. Blickmanstein?
Yes, J.P. Gore. Everything is perfect for my next fermented creation.
But, Doctor, the storm is too far away. We'll never have enough power to isomerize the creature's alpha acids.
Yes, J.P. Gore, we will. For I have in my possession the Tower of Power.
Blickman's new Tower of Power is the evolution of automation. Control hot liquor, sparge, and mash temps like a pro. The Tower of Power is a high-quality gas-fired rim system that works with your current brewing setup. With ultra-precision, the tower can hold your mash to 1/2 of a degree Fahrenheit. Precision and repeatability. The Tower of Power is the answer to automatic, fast ramp times. See more at BlickmanEngineering.com. Bring your next creation to life with the Tower of Power.
Dr. Blickmanstein, with the Tower of Power, you can probably give me an afternoon at the pub to enjoy a pint.
Don't be silly, J.P. Gore. We have beer to brew.
A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California, and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
Yeah, well, there it is. I was really close to that. But down. See? No?
I wouldn't say close.
But recognizable.
If it was Name That Tune, it would be like,
Not one of you would have gotten it. I was talking about Seinfeld.
No, I got it.
Oh, see, JP got it.
Well, the fact that you said Seinfeld helped a little.
Yeah, that's right when JP got it.
It helped a lot, actually, yeah, 100% of it.
All right, before we move on, hey, let me let you know about America's oldest brewing school, Siebel. That's right, more courses than any other brewing school, and courses include things like the Advanced Homebrewing course. So, even as homebrewers, you can go learn to brew over there. Craft distilling and beer style courses for those looking to ace beer knowledge exams. Professional level brewing courses available both campus-based and web-based, so you can do it in your underwear. I've always liked that option. And the faculty includes some of the best-known and respected instructors in international brewing. So check them out over at Siebel. It's a great school, and a lot of guests we've been having on lately have come from the Siebel Institute, so that's good to see. Great sponsors of ours, too, so check them out. All right, so we still have MacLeod Brewing Company in the studio with us. You can go watch the studio cams anytime during the show or even after by going to thebrewingnetwork.com/TV, and then you can see all of their lovely faces if they come into the studio, which we've been having a nice run of in-studio guests. You guys drove all the way up from Southern California to do this, so that's nice of you. I'm sure we were the only thing on your list.
That's a terrible drive.
You guys and 9 other breweries.
Yeah, of course, which is, you got to do your research while you're here, don't you?
Make a weekend of it.
Having this bar makes it a little bit of an easier sell to insist that out-of-towners make the drive.
It is, right? People want to come.
I would be sheepish about it. Like I would try once, and if they went, I wouldn't press the issue. But now It's like, I insist upon it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's working, and it works for us, too, because, for example, we're having our first cask night here at the Hop Grenade, thanks to you. So Andy, the brewmaster, is in the studio with us now as well. And what is the beer that we have on cask here?
We have it's called the Session Gap. But we're in Van Nuys, so all the beers are porn-themed. I mean, bagpipe tunes.
Oh, yeah. Well, porn with bagpipe soundtrack.
Yeah, bagpipe porn.
It's my favorite genre.
Right.
Yep. AdamandEve.com.
Yes.
This is a session gap is an ordinary bitter, which is ordinary bitter is a BJCP style designation. We just call it a bitter. Normally, but
what defines an ordinary bitter by the BJCP? Do you remember all that nonsense?
I'm only Cicerone beer server certified, so I haven't really gotten that
Jamil,
high.
what defines
I can give you a little
it's
bit.
Like 2.8 to 3.8. It's got a bit of a caramel note. English esters. Firm bittering, but with some malt balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like you just described this beer to us, too.
That's exactly what I was saying.
That's what you're going for.
Yeah.
So you were going for something a little different in your region. You guys chose to do all English ales as a brewery.
Yeah, it's not so much a choice of just being niche for niche sake. Everybody in the company brings a love for British beer and British culture to the company, and that we center around British beer. My training is in England, learning about English beer. I went there specifically to learn about cask ale. Like I could have gone to the Siebel Institute,
sure,
but I went to a school instead that had specifically taught you about cask ale.
Okay,
that's my love, is that type of beer.
Is that the type of beer that got you into beer? Then basically,
I've been trying to pinpoint it for a while. It'd be a nice, convenient story if there was
one moment.
Yeah. But what I started homebrewing was dark mild.
Okay. Yes,
it was probably one of my first recipes. If I can be a fangirl for a little moment, I owe a lot to getting from just a basic homebrewer to on a path of going into professional brewing, like through the Brewing Network, brewing classic styles, stuff like that.
Awesome.
So I think I probably started with the dark mild recipe and moved on from there.
Okay.
And just was like, wow, these are flavors I don't pick out of a lot of beer that I can buy on the market, at the bar, whatnot. I was fortunate to be coming into craft beer in the East Coast, which I feel has a bit more of an English influence still retained in the craft beer scene there.
Yeah.
And I was going to school at the University of Vermont in Burlington, Vermont, where Vermont Pub and Brewery is, and they have casks on quite regularly of British styles.
Okay.
People think of them what they will. I still think it's an exceptional place, and it's it's a piece of history, a place like that. And you get to try cask as it would be in England, which isn't necessarily the most perfect beer you ever have.
Right.
Casks go through ebbs and flows, and you go there at the right time point, and you have the perfect pint of beer.
That's the part that scares me about doing cask beers is it does ebb and flow.
You have to be a better cellar person. That cellarmanship is a skill that doesn't exist in the U.S. anymore, as far as I would say. And I suppose some people in New York City would disagree.
Okay.
There's a lot of great cask ale out that way. Not that I've personally experienced, but just listening to things like, if I could say another podcast I listen to, Beer Sessions Radio, they talk quite a bit about cask ale out that way.
Get out right now.
Yeah, we'll cut that out in post. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So I can mention another
competitors.
Yeah, another podcast, the Brewing Network.
Really.
It'll be JP's
They're
voice.
Totally taking Adam and Eve. They talk a lot about cask ale, and it seems like they have quite a thing going on out there. I can't remember the guy that runs Gotham and Biber, that cask ale blog, or whatever that's out that way. They've got some good cask ale anyway.
Okay.
To not labor the point.
That's okay. So at what point do you decide you need to go to school for brewing and that you want to go learn to make cask ale?
Yeah. The homebrewing scene where I was living in Rhode Island most recently, where the homebrewing scene there isn't quite what it is in California.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a Maltose Falcons member now. Going from a homebrew club that has maybe 10 people showing up to a meeting to my first meeting had 90 people there at a Maltose meeting, and you taste 46 beers.
Wow. Right.
And it's just like, holy balls.
And Drew Beecham is like 15 people himself.
He's, at least, yeah.
He's gotten that big now. Huh?
I meant his personality.
Oh, yeah.
I
guess I had 16.
But otherwise, he's 16. Just going from that is it's such a huge difference. So, preface this, or getting into it, I wanted to get further in homebrewing, and I was moving on from a career working in AmeriCorps, and I was in AmeriCorps Vista working at Brown University, and I was either going to go down a path of working in nonprofits or going to grad school for anthropology. And or getting into some other field. I was really in love with the food scene in the area, really in love with making beer. And I was like, those are big commitment industries.
Yeah. And all have the similarity that none of them will make
They're
you
all
any money.
non-profit, yes.
So
it's not about the money. It's about eating well and getting drunk.
There you go. Yeah.
So I needed to make clear crossroads because I feel you shouldn't enter an industry without trying to be really, really good at it.
Okay.
You need to have a goal in mind, and that's to try to be make a significant contribution to that industry.
Yeah.
And so at least within brewing, I was like, if I'm going to go down the brewing path, I need to win some homebrew awards.
Okay.
I entered a couple homebrew competitions. First 2 competitions I entered is actually the Robust Porter recipe.
Jamil's Robust Porter.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
First place porter category, both competitions.
Nice.
I was just like, all right, that's good enough for me. I'll roll with that.
Okay.
That shows that I have some sort of technical ability going into it because I would only homebrew like maybe 3 or 4 recipes. It was all about process.
Okay.
And just perfecting the process and teaching myself that you just clean all the time. Just clean.
Yeah.
If you can't be up until 2 a.m. cleaning kegs, you don't get into the industry because that's what required.
Okay.
You don't. The creative element is at some point. Hopefully, you get there. After that, it's rote work.
I feel like you had very strict parents who really taught these.
He's like our strict parent in the brewery. He's like the parent.
Yeah.
Alistair and I are the bad kids.
Some of the
bad kids.
He's always texting us in the morning like somebody didn't empty out the sink last night. Or
Tisk, tisk, tisk. I want to point out, too, that as we were leaving the studio for the break and Andy saw me cutting the Seinfeld audio there, he went, I'm almost too young for Seinfeld. So that's what he said. So I just want to point out, this is a very young guy we got sitting here.
But he has a lot. I guess I'm saying that you have a strong sense of responsibility. And these are all good things. I'm making fun of you, of course.
It's a privilege to work in this industry.
Yeah.
So I want to treat it with due respect.
Sure.
Like, I love being a brewer. I think it's such a privilege to work in that kind of position. And I want to treat it with due deference. With all the other brewers I've met that are just, they love their job, and it's one of the oldest professions.
Yeah,
it's us and prostitutes.
Sure, and you could have gone either way. I mean, you're a handsome guy.
So maybe it'd be a dream job from like a historical appreciation standpoint to get a gig at this new stripper brew pub because you're combining
the two oldest in Ohio or something.
Ohio, yeah,
might be worth the move.
Yeah. So at what point? All right. So you do the competition. Now you feel better that all right. I've actually got some skill at this. I'm willing to put in the time, and you decide to go to school?
It was a decision of I'm going to go further with this industry, and I need to figure out what that means. I'd done a lot of beer advocate festivals, being in the Boston area.
Yeah.
I'd done so many beer advocate festivals, and become friendly with Dan Paquette of Pretty Things, who also he's a huge fan of British beer. He worked in Yorkshire. And I was like, Dan, I'd really love to get into the industry. What do you suggest? I'm having a lot of difficulty finding an internship in New England. It was just there were no internships at that time for some reason. I don't know what was going on.
What year is this?
2011.
Okay.
I couldn't find any internships in the area, even though I was living in Providence, Rhode Island. I knew the brew pub in the area. It's called Trinity Brew House. There weren't a lot of breweries in that area. Of course, I leave Rhode Island and 5 breweries open. But
that's the way it goes.
Yeah. So anyway, I owe a lot to Dan. He was like, the way the industry's right now, you need an education.
Yeah.
There's one thing to work your way up, but you have to be there. You got to be there at the right exact moment.
Yeah.
You love cask ale. You love England. You love English beer. Go to fucking England.
Okay.
Just do it. If you can stomach the bill, the brewing education there is for one cheaper.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Some of London's restaurants are quite good, but
I couldn't afford those when I was there. So I think what happened. What school was it?
Oh, we could talk all day about English food. I'll defend it. But the north of England, the food is fucking terrible.
Oh, okay.
Which is where I went for school.
What school was it?
It's a place called Brew Lab. They're almost like white labs, but with a brewing school.
Okay.
They do a lot of yeast analysis and yeast banking. and grow up pitches for people. And they also run a brewing school that used to be part of the university there. It's in a town called Sunderland, just south of Newcastle.
And how long is their program? Or
It is 3 months.
Okay.
It's not a massive commitment. It's not Harriet Watt. It's not some of the Siebel longer courses or even Davis, but it's specifically English, and it's only the price of an American college for a semester. So I could afford it.
Yeah. You know, I think the advice that you were given by, what's his name at Pretty Things?
Dan Paquette.
It's super timely and wise. You know, Jamal, when we started this show, we do all those interviews, it actually was... it was pretty rare when we heard that people had gone to brewing school. It certainly happened. Maybe rare is not the right. But more often than not, people just got into it. But I'll tell you that in the last year, at least, maybe even 2 years, almost all of the guests come in having gone to brewing school.
Well, there's so many people vying for jobs.
Yeah.
You know, when I post that we were, hiring at the brewery, I'll get 200 applicants.
Wow.
And, just to whittle them down to a decent pool, I'm looking for the ones who have already invested in the career.
Yeah.
Not somebody who's just thinks it'll be fun. Somebody who actually knows what it entails. And that usually involves somebody doing some study, doing some self-investment. They've paid for school, things like that.
Even the level of commitment. My best professors told me that it actually didn't really matter what my major was. In some cases, it certainly does, the sciences, things like that. But in a lot of cases, people just want to know that you committed to a program, you followed through, you finished it. So I think, like you said, Jamil, you could see that on a resume. It automatically helps throw away other resumes.
Yep.
Tasty, you must be seeing it now, too. Some of your friends coming up through the kids now that we used to just say, just homebrew, are all now going to school.
Yeah, young guys are showing what the brewery with an education, and then a lot of the guys that are already there are actually, getting the company to send them back to school. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's happened quite a bit.
That's a smart investment, too. Yeah. So.
I'm a bus driver, and I like drinking beer. Can I have a job making beer at your brewery, please? Just reply yes or no. No period, no exclamation, no capitalization.
Check this box for yes.
Yeah, one word.
When I got to brewing school, I feel like I was competing against that, except that people were like, I'm a chemical engineer.
Yeah.
I have no
a
brewing
PhD in microbiology.
Yeah.
I want to brew beer.
Yeah. Well, it tastes awful, but it's perfectly fermented if you wanted to make pharmaceuticals.
It's funny, too, because the other thing I used to hear on the employer side was, I'd rather them actually not have gone to school because I can then train them exactly how I want them. And I don't really hear that anymore either.
A couple guests that have come on straight just said, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I want to train them up the way that I want them trained up.
I think that's changed, too.
I think, maybe. When people say that, I think that they have a fear that maybe those people will know more than they know.
Oh, yeah.
Because just because you went to school doesn't, different people, you can get people with a serious attitude like, well, I went to school, I know everything.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want those people. But, just because somebody went to school doesn't mean that, that's somebody who wants to learn.
Right.
If you ask me.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they've stopped learning. It means that they're open to it and they value it. That's why they paid for education. So I look at it as a very, very high positive.
Yeah. All right, so don't apply at Heretic unless you're on there.
Right. Get some education first, man.
I sort of view it almost as like, we were talking about this earlier with the assistant brewer and I. It was sort of like Cicerone stuff. Mm-hmm. You have a certain expectation of, okay, so certified Cicerone is a pretty high level. You gotta know shit to get to that point.
Yeah,
you're above and beyond. The beer server, you can kind of. You can know a thing or two, but you have an expectation that person knows something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like hiring someone with an education. You have an expectation that they're going to know some shit.
Sure.
And you can at least expect them to know that you mix strike water with your malt. You don't add it and then put it in the boil kettle and then ferment the whole thing.
Right.
Like
you don't. Oh shit. I knew I've been doing that.
Well, if I can weigh in here, I think, there's so many things that make a good employee or what I'm looking for in an employee.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of it is knowledge, some of it is enthusiasm, some of it is people skills. There's so many areas. It can't just be that someone's educated, and it can't just be that someone's easy to get along with. You need a hard worker. You need just so many things. So part of it is education, but there's so many different element
That's a
to
good
a
point.
person's personality that makes them.
And looks. They gotta be looking good.
Yeah. I was just about to get to that.
I mean, if you got to watch them wiggle around the brewery all day long, they better be good looking.
Yeah.
You know,
Who's look good?
We give them the kill test at our brewery.
Right. When you pop out of the tank, it gives you a pop up.
Yeah. How did Andy get the job? Had you met previously, or did he apply?
He wiggled.
I was on Pro Brewer
Playgirl.
looking for Tom Hennessy used brewery tanks, and I just happened I wasn't really looking, but I just happened to notice Andy's post, and it really appealed to me because
he had a picture.
I thought wow, that's something I would do, go to England, and I lived in England during my childhood, and so just a lot of what Andy posted, he really just he didn't want to just be washing kegs. I just
seemed like-minded.
Yeah, he showed a lot of initiative, and it really appealed to me that he'd been to England, and so he understood that culture. Because Alistair and I are very Anglo-centric.
Okay.
I really wanted to, I wanted to break into the industry, and you have to recognize that just I'd interned, but I hadn't worked at a brewery full time for 3 years or something. So I was saying I bring this amount of education to it, internship and whatever, and I'm entering at the bottom level. Recognize that. But what I bring to your brewery, if you were to hire me, is a real passion for English beer styles, interest to learn. And, at some point I would really love to, whatever breweries, just start a cask ale program.
Right.
Real simple cask ale program.
So Jennifer's like, all right, so he's like-minded and minimum wage because he has no experience. Let's go.
Not so much. I mean, yeah, not so much that though. But I mean, we're kind of in the same spot, but employer-employee.
Sure.
He didn't have a lot of experience. We didn't have a lot of experience, so it was let's take a chance on each other.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to design your own beers and brew what you want. We're going to give you a lot of freedom to do that, and you can design your own program and. We get the benefit of your passion, and you're going to do a better job at brewing than we would have.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So tell us about this beer. Since we got the style, which I joked, but I meant it. The description of the style described the beer to me as well. But why don't you tell us about it, Andy?
We went down the rabbit hole.
That's okay. I like it.
It goes a lot to why we brought it in cask too. It does well in keg, but something like a bitter. Jamil and I were talking about it earlier. This is just the epitome of cask ale, this type of beer style, because I'm not sure what you'd think of it on keg, but I think it's still a good beer. But there's something about this beer that just doesn't have. There's a lot of malt profile. There's a bit of English hops to it, but on cask, warmer temperature, lower carbonation, slight amount of oxidation. They're just slight factors in the grand scheme of beer, but they can absolutely turn this beer from an all right drinking experience, like, yeah, I'll have a pint of that, to, holy crap, I'm having a beer epiphany.
Okay. Do you hop the cask at all?
No, we don't dry hop stuff at this point. We're doing a couple of one-off things where we'll dry hop, but we can't. If you're not going to use the cask right away, you could easily over-extract the hops.
Okay, yeah.
It's something that we come across a lot in Los Angeles with our peers that are also doing casks, but they don't. They're doing casks because there's a massive hole in the side of the vessel that they can cram shit into.
Okay, yeah.
Or hops.
Or hops.
Yeah, well, LA's weird, man. They'll do whatever.
It's not that weird. It's a trend now. Haven't you been listening to the news?
A little more West Hollywood.
It's like a masculine thing of just an orifice, and it needs to be plugged with something. I feel it. So
I'm insulted.
Yeah,
good. We sort of bring it's so the beer that we're trying to make. It's not like deliberately old school, or it's not deliberately to style, but it's a love of English beer and British beer styles that we want to bring to the table, and we want to bring that cask experience to people. So they're trying these beers. Maybe not as they are exactly in England or whatever. We're not chasing some goal of being absolutely perfectly English.
Okay.
Because these beers need to be made in an American idiom. But we're not overly hopping them or making them 5.6 or something just to appeal to a market.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew you'd like that.
Thank you.
Do you sell casks outside of the brewery?
If people wanted to do it, but my favorite thing about doing the tasting room is that we can do all casks. So we have 6 beer engines on there, and I get to control how I did all of the facility set up for that. So our cold room is kept at 55. So that might not be the best for ensuring chill haze prevention in our keg beer, but as long as it's not chunks of yeast floating in it, I don't really have a problem with chill haze. It doesn't taste like anything.
Okay.
But we can serve our beer at the perfect cellar temperature. We have 6 beer engines. We can hold it for as long as we need to. We decide the beer is too old, the cask isn't perfect anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's down the drain, done, because we were trying to bring that experience to people.
Because
it can be such a formative experience in trying these kinds of beers. And they're good on keg, but you put a double IPA or some sort of sour, triple barrel hopped, whatever, blah, 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 aged in an elephant, whatever thing. And
you've been to Brewdog.
He's been paying attention to the news on this show.
Yeah, Brewdog.
I do think that you're right about that. The experience can really change you and your opinion on English beer. I'm glad that somebody's doing it here, that you're doing it in the U.S. These guys will know I went on and on and on when I came back from England after. It did change my opinion about beer, about English cask ale, because I had gone to some publicans who did it right. Who really and it just was so very different than what I had before. Cask beer, I had only had U.S. cask beer at the time, and it was very, very hit or miss. And I mean, real like more
Mainly
miss than I'd had one or two, right?
Oh yeah, I'll stay away from it usually.
But everyone talked about it. It was cask ale, cask. So I thought, well, it must be good. Everyone's talking about it.
There can be some good ones, but getting a great example of British beer. Something that if I was in England, and I was like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, drinking lots of bitter everywhere I went. If you served me this beer then, I would have loved it.
You like it?
I'm on my 4th pint.
Oh, excellent.
I think it's excellent.
It's really good, right?
I think this is the best bitter I've had served in the U.S.
Wow. That's fantastic.
I don't think that there's. I cannot remember. I cannot remember a better bitter in the U.S.
Awesome. Absolutely, I look for them.
Yeah, you don't find them.
No, and that terrible in the Sierra Nevada beer camp beer, they try to pass off a bitter, and it's like that's not a fucking bitter.
5.6.
Get out of here.
And people try. So last week,
terrible.
I brewed a best bitter because 1 week out of the UK, I was already jonesing for a decent bitter. So we ended up brewing a bitter, best bitter at Device. Because I just couldn't stand it anymore. And I'm telling you, this is excellent. This is really well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
We've had a lot of Brits come into the tasting room and literally get emotional. Like either they haven't been there for a while, they've maybe been in LA
They're
20 years or something.
people, though.
They try everything.
They're always crying and flowery speech and all that stuff.
But they just they felt like they were at home and they just had a moment.
Yeah, they get emotional. We even had a guy actually who was here on a business trip. He was from Yorkshire. We had our Yorkshire Pale Ale, and he was like, "Oh, this is just like at home." Wow. And he happened to be, he was very familiar with Roosters, where Andy studied and he or worked. Yeah. And he lived in that neighborhood, and he was like, "This is it. You nailed it."
And he's like we're saying, he was probably astonished. He's probably tried 10 Yorkshire beers in America. I mean, every time he's like,
"It's not."
He's like, "You assholes!
Everyone just goes
false
to
advertising."
London.
Here, it's the 70 IBU bitter. Oh, awesome! I was having one in LA a couple weeks ago, last weekend, whatever it was, and I'm like, "This is not a bit. It's too bitter. The bitter's not bitter."
Right.
Well, no, that's just okay. Fine, whatever. But this, I need to make them my usual. Whenever we go down south, I stop at Eagle Rock. The guys at Eagle Rock.
We're so close.
Solidarity.
I'm a huge fan of Solidarity.
I need to make this. I need to make this my second stop for sure.
Okay.
Just a little bit of local competition. I want you to try our Jackie Tar, the stout that we have on here.
I will.
I'm curious.
Is it here at the Grenade?
Yep.
We have it here too? Okay,
it's on
good.
keg, though.
Excellent. That's all right.
It's on keg, though.
So it's probably shit.
Been ruined. Morons that buy keg beer.
Yeah.
Was that a seminal moment for you, Andy, about 2 minutes ago when Jamil was blowing smoke up the ass of your beer? How did you feel in that
I thought
moment?
I saw some seminal.
The Brewing Classic Styles author himself had all those things to say. What were you thinking?
Oh, you're going to play the Oprah moment? Yeah.
He pays attention.
And we're going to buy you all a new car.
Car for you. I could use one. It's a milestone for sure, because I have a very particular palate, and I don't trust a lot of other people's palates. You just sort of get like that, I guess, and especially when you have a passion for a certain type of beer, and you know that you might have friends that have really good palates, but they have a taste for particular beer styles. So they have incredible palates. They can taste one of those beers I call a wall of hops. I think guys call it a West Coast IPA.
Yeah.
I call it a mistake, but that's just me.
Good. I like that. So I just would call it a wall of hops, and they can taste every single hop in it. And I'm like, wow, I must just not be very good at tasting hops. And then to have a similar to come across somebody else that has a similar tasting background that you do, where they know that beer style, they understand that beer style, and they're like, and they're not just being the expat people that come into the pub. They're wonderful, but they drink your pint of beer and then they go out inside and have a couple cigarettes, and you're like, okay, yeah, your palate anyway. But someone that has the understanding of what that type of beer style is expected to have, and saying that this beer is good, as well as on top of it, that was a foundational book for me. I've dropped it in my mash tun so many times. Not a full scale. I make my own recipes now.
You should read it. It helps. I
don't stir it in the beer. You actually read it. Yeah.
This is what you do. This is how you apply it, right?
That's how I inoculate the wort now.
It's applied knowledge.
Yeah. I do actually use that as a reference point to see what people would use for that type of what malt profile that someone would use.
Yeah.
I think it's a really great.
It's a good
thing.
point that you make about Jamil's palate, somebody's palate, really knowing what this beer should taste like. I know that I like the beer, but I don't really know what it should taste like. And Tasty could really talk to us about session IPAs. He has a great palate for building recipes and making those beers.
If he was awake.
So I do. I like.
He's not dead yet.
I just like the point that you make that as a brewer, and it must be sort of few and far between that you get people that come in and really know what they're talking about with this particular style of beer.
Yeah, I don't want to be I'd say picky, but I was re-listening to one of the shows, so I'd go with bitchy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be bitchy about it.
Right.
But yeah, people's palates are hit or miss, and you're just like, that's a really great review, but actually tell me something I don't know.
Yeah,
like I know the beer is like good, but like what is good for you?
Yeah,
is it Tetley, which is okay, or is it Boddington's, and that's your frame of reference for a bitter, or have you been in a pub and had 7 pints of the same beer and really delved into it? Have you sat there with Timothy Taylor, landlord, at like 7 different pubs, and you know what it is in every permutation?
Okay,
and then you say that's a good beer. Like that's
it means something then. Yeah,
that's
good beer in two style. I think
that's Charlie Bamforth saying you have
certain.
good head retention. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I haven't had bitters from England before, but I know what it's supposed to taste like. Reading the guidelines and trying to correlate what I see on the screen versus what I'm drinking. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I still think it's a great beer.
Yeah,
Actually, you can go to Davis Beer Shop and you can get a landlord there in bottles.
Really?
Yeah. They almost always have it. Actually, quite fresh. It's nothing like having it on cask somewhere, but if you want an approximate example, and you're going to school at Davis, hey, stop in there.
Stop there.
Something to do out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one more thing on bitter too is something that I find interesting about the style is it's almost a neither here nor there style, which is, I think Jenny would understand that I characterize a lot of styles that way. Of it's not distinctly in like a particular flavor camp. You kind of are aiming for this
balance.
target, and a lot of people don't understand how you balance the elements that go into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd admit it was difficult for me too to figure out where to aim for, like color. The color it's not pale ale. It's slightly darker, but it's not an amber. Like, where do you aim for that with that?
Something in between.
Yeah, the hopping, it needs to be there, but not too much. You don't almost want to, like, not really think about it too much. This batch came out a bit more bitter than I would be looking for in future. But, like, you just want what I describe as it's lots of malt with hops just peeking over the hedge.
Do you know how many IBUs are in this beer you have notes there?
I brought my recipe sheet.
Beautiful.
Or a recipe sheet. It is a target of 32 IBUs, which is a bit high for style, but it's just we don't have a spectrophotometer.
You could drop a cask of this off at Heretic Brewing Company. We have a spectrophotometer.
Oh, yeah.
We need a full cask though in order to
I hear they take a
appropriately
lot
evaluate
of
you know.
liquid.
I wouldn't mind a trip up north, so I can do that.
It's only another 20 minutes that way, so
I'll do anything for a spectrophotometer.
Now, since we're on hops, and can we talk about like when the hop additions happen?
Sure.
Because we so often on this show, because we're often talking about West Coast IPAs and pale ales, are always talking about late hopping. Is that similar to this beer?
Well, we do some late hops. We do a beer that's actually entirely late hops, which I'm quite proud of, but it's just a summer seasonal.
Okay.
It's a little annoying to talk about it and not have it here.
Yeah,
but
well, stick to this one for now. So,
I know.
and I'm more. It's so that we can give our listeners pointers into how they could brew a great mild or bitter like this.
Wanted to make a point though about how English brewing isn't as stagnant as some people think.
Okay, doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Anyway, so this gets. It starts out with Challenger at 60, and then Bramling Cross at 15. And then finishes with East Kent Goldings.
Is that like at 1 minute or at 0 minute?
Yeah,
okay.
So basically as the whirlpool starts.
Okay.
We do a really short whirlpool because we get pretty good work clarity.
Okay.
Through just 6 minutes of whirlpooling.
Okay.
Small tank.
Yeah.
And then we knock out within 15 minutes.
Okay.
So it's not sitting hot for too long.
And how about the malt bill?
This malt bill it's actually weirdly like one of our most complicated malt bills. Our base malt is all Golden Promise, which seems unusual here, but it's almost all the breweries I've went in England. It was at least in the north of England, it was all Golden Promise.
Okay,
we're the two largest. As far as I know, the two largest users of Golden Promise in the LA area are Golden Road and us.
Oh, really?
so it's. I don't even know how many times larger than us.
I would not have guessed Golden Road, though.
They're English styles. They're using a lot of Golden Promise.
Okay.
So this is, having grown up on Brewing Network, basically, I'll give you the full recipe if you want.
Thank you.
So 90% Golden Promise, 4% Crystal 60, 0.5% of Crystal 120, or Crystal 150 if that's what you accidentally buy.
Happens to me all the time.
0.5% of Biscuit and 1% Amber.
Okay.
And then 4% flake barley to make up the 100%.
Gotcha. Now, you said this is particularly complex for some of your recipes.
Yeah, most of the other things we rely for some of the other beers. The other one we have on is Scottish 60 Shilling. That's just Golden Promise black malt, flake barley, and a sugar syrup.
Okay.
It's easy. This is just it because we're dealing with 0.5%. It's for our scale, it's like 2 pounds of something.
I see.
But it's because of the batch size, it's enough. I feel to make a difference.
Okay.
So it takes a lot longer to mash in.
Do you
just grind everything?
Do you use the same yeast strain for all of your ales?
Yeah, we're Y Yeast West Yorkshire strain.
Okay. Why that one? Why'd you choose that?
Because it's awesome.
Because it's from Yorkshire. Face it. He went through some little testing thing just to for appearances.
It was
surprise. I like the Yorkshire the best.
The West Yorkshire. We did a show choosing like yeast or something like that, and I tell you, that West Yorkshire, you could ferment sewage with that, and you'd love it. It'd be like,
wow,
man. a malt character in the yeast.
It drops so clear.
Amazing.
Fermented like crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I put at least 6 different strains side by side, same beer. I mean, I'll admit maybe there was brewer error in there somewhere, but there's definitely a lot of bias. The flavor profile as well as its full scale fermentation characteristics, it's bang on.
Okay.
Like it ferments really quickly if you do everything correctly. And top crops like a champ if you do everything correctly. It's a lot in that. So it's a great strain. You just can't make really strong beers with it.
Okay.
That's really the only issue. And because considering nothing in our profile, our portfolio at this point is over 5.5%, we're probably okay.
What temperature do you ferment at?
68.
Okay.
For the present time.
Open fermentation, or
it's technically open fermentation. Yeah, we have a lid on the fermenter. They're a type of white wine fermenter, so they have a variable capacity lid. But the day before batch 1, I got freaked out by the whole like inflatable bladder thing and having to open it and getting it, all this stuff. I was worried about contamination. And so I bought a big sheet of plastic and put a port in it so I can do a CIP valve, and away we go. So it's an open top fermenter.
And those tanks were a Tom Hennessy inspiration. That's what he uses, and I think quite a few of his students do. They're good little tanks, and they cost way less than a unitank. So,
do they have conical bottoms?
No, it's poorly sloped.
Okay,
I'd say they're cheap.
Okay. I mean, I only ask because it just seems to be convenient if there's a way to get the beer out and leave the gunk behind.
We do a pretty good job. It settles down in a pretty hard-ass cake down on the bottom, so you got to do quite a bit to rouse it off the bottom.
Okay.
There's a raised port on the side, so we're not having high yeast load carryover. And then we do a cold crash in the tank to drop yeast down to targets.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned top cropping. Are you harvesting any other way? Are you able to take it off the bottom as well?
We could do, if we have a bad harvest from a batch of beer, I will pull some off of the bottom.
Okay.
But it's because there's no conical bottom. We don't have a good stratification of true versus good yeast.
So the best yeast is at the top anyway. So.
Totally. But I've been struggling with the yeast strain a lot lately. It doesn't perform quite as well on the full scale as I would have liked. And you got to admit at some point that it's I'm really new to this.
How are you doing your top cropping?
We'll start at the beginning. So once we move past lag phase, you get your first kreuzen and full of like proteinaceous material, hop stuff stuck at the top. We'll skim that off, dump it down the drain. It's too soon.
You skimming it with a paddle?
Well, until we run out of our first paracetic acid container, we're just using a scoop. And then I'm going to, as I learned from roosters in Yorkshire, turn that container into a scoop. So it's just this little tiny 2-liter scoop. So it takes So
you're going to make a big ladle, basically.
Yeah. It takes forever right now, but it's what it is.
That is the pitch for another batch, or is that like a starter kind of thing for them?
They're just tossing that away because it's got protein, hop matter.
The second time you harvest.
Second time, it depends on how far in until we get a good crop because our fermenters are a little undersized. So if we don't pull off on day 2, sometimes we'll get I call it fermenter blowout. It'll just spew out yeast all down the sides, and we'll have to spend about 3 hours cleaning the sides of the tank. So we'll crop some of that off, dump it down the drain, and then we won't really crop until we get within 4 points of final.
That's the crop that you use, you're saying, is not until that end thing.
We'll take about 2 buckets off.
So, and I'm sorry if I'm just trying to make sure I understand. Right. And you scoop it off the same way when you actually are taking the yeast that you're going to use in the next batch, you're literally just kind of scooping it into a vessel.
Scoop it off.
See, I know that this is normal because I've talked to other brewers about it, but God, all that's been beaten into my head so much about sanitation and closed systems and all of this.
It just seems so counter.
Well, yeah, it seems counterintuitive to me, but it's not, right? This is how it's done.
You really, it's the way that it's done, but you see some unsanitary practices in England. If not to crap on the Black Sheep Brewery at all, but their tour gantry walks right over the top of their fermenters.
Okay.
And they're harvesting yeast from the top of that. So your shoes, everything in your shoes is in that yeast pitch.
Wow.
They do acid washes, but they have to acid wash every single pitch. We have the closed top, so you have to be really, really as careful as you possibly can be harvesting in that kind of way, because you're not doing closed transfers. You don't have a great yeast brink. You have to be so careful about it.
Do you acid wash your yeast?
Not at this point.
Do you acid wash your jeans? That's a more important question.
You buy them that way.
Yeah. It's LA, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
So you scoop it off in this vessel, right? In a as Tacey said, it's a big ladle.
Pickle bucket.
Mm-hmm.
And then where does it go?
Brewing buckets.
What do you do with it then?
Into the fridge.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Until
we'll try to make sure we at least pull like 2 scoops worth of, so about 4 liters worth of beer, actively fermenting beer, and that to kind of give it a nice protective layer over the top, as well as when you go to pitch again, you need something to mix it in with, so you can actually scoop it out and dump it. Otherwise, it's just you pull the scoop out and it's just stuck on the scoop. You can't do anything with it.
Got it. So it goes in the fridge with some beer. Keeps it protected, like you said, and then you'll take that out of the fridge, and that's your pitch.
That'll be multiple pitches worth.
Okay.
So it'll be about 3 beers worth, but we won't keep it for that long. We try to make sure we're doing a beer that is suitable for harvesting from every other week.
Okay.
So we'll do a dark beer, a really hoppy beer, maybe something that's slightly high alcohol, and then we'll do the ordinary bitter, and we'll harvest from that.
Idea being that that's a cleaner beer with less flavors that stick out. Okay.
Yeah, like the dark beers that could change the color profile of that beer, or if it's a particularly hoppy beer, you're getting not just the declining viability of the yeast from the hop oils, but there could be flavor carryover. Because like we mostly use Challenger and East Kent Goldings and everything, but then like our really hoppy summer beer, there's Nelson and Matuka and Ricau in that, and Waimea, and that could be a flavor carryover into the next beer, which would make, if all of a sudden you're tasting watermelon in the session gap, that would kind of be out of style.
Okay. So this process not only is producing good beer, but it saves the brewery a lot of money too, right? Not buying a pitch every time you have to do a beer.
In theory, as long as you have everything spot on.
Okay. Yeah. Get it right. Is there a certain amount of generations where you will decide to, you need a new pitch?
The plan was to do every quarter.
Okay.
But right now, this has been one of the biggest issues within the brew house. We had some initial production issues, but we can make wort all day. But production within the fermentation has been a struggle. So we've been buying a new pitch just about every, I'd say, 5 batches.
Okay.
Which sucks.
Okay.
Totally sucks. And it's just, we had a bad aeration system initially, and then our dissolved oxygen meter broke down. So we didn't know that we were getting bad aeration. And then we get the meter back, and we realize we're over oxygenating, and now we're having another problem that's not related to any of those things.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a small cost, though. I mean, you got to look at it. I know as a business owner, you're like, oh my God, why are we buying 10 times more yeast than we planned on? It's one of those things where the beer's got to have what it's got to have. You just got to pay for the things that you need to pay for in order to have quality product, and then.
I just hate waiting, having to wait that long, and when you think you're making English beer, you top crop, and you're like, I could infinitely top crop forever and ever and ever, ever and ever and ever.
Yes.
Oh wait, every 4 batches you need to spend $260 on a new pitch, and it's we can't brew this week because we're waiting for a new pitch from Oregon, because it wasn't until day 6 on the fermentation we're like, it's actually totally crapped out at this point.
Oh
shit.
Okay.
And also, beer ingredients are such a tiny little portion of the expense of running a brewery.
Yeah.
It's really
nothing.
kind of insignificant.
Okay, yeah. You're not worried too much about it at all.
I mean, I don't want to spend extra money, but honestly, you're okay, Andy. I'm not getting mad. Seriously, honestly, the cost of the beer is like...
Yeah.
You can buy the best malt possible, and it really makes almost no difference whatsoever versus buying the cheapest malt possible. Mm-hmm. So why breweries try and scrimp and save on their ingredients is beyond me.
Yeah, it's really, your rent, your labor, your insurance, the workers' comp. That's really what you're paying for when you pay for a pint of beer.
Trips to the strip club, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it adds up.
And it does get expensive.
You're making it rain, and it starts hitting the budget.
Yes,
bottom line, right there.
Yeah, I mean, I had to cut down to make it rain down to once a week because once we opened this place, it's just the expenses went up.
All right, I'm going to need you both to stop saying "make it rain."
I'm going to need the two whitest people in the room to stop
Just
it.
stop saying.
Yeah,
Just stop.
That was a reference to you crying about this place.
yeah, I was talking about that. Jamil, too. We cry together is actually what happens.
What have we done to ourselves?
Yeah. Well, I want to try more of your beer, especially now that I realize we have some of it on tap. So how about this? Can we take another quick break, and we'll come back and talk more about MacLeod Ale? Can we do that?
Yes.
All right, excellent. So hang in there. MacLeod Ale, go to MacLeod.com, and you can, MacLeodale.com, sorry, you can check it out yourself, or call 888-401-BEER if you want to ask questions, or just hit the chat button on the homepage. We'll be right back. Hang in there.
You're listening to the Brewcasters.
The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way. When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a Certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at Cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SanaClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. Adventures in Homebrewing has the knowledge and expertise to craft their own gear and original recipes. Some of the things homebrewing.org creates and manufactures in-house are the Brutus brew stands and propane burners, the Serial Killer adjustable 2-roller grain mill with 7-pound hopper, custom stainless steel false bottoms designed to fit kegels, coolers, and mini-sized brew pots. And the BN Army receives 10% off their homebrewing.org orders when they use coupon code AIH10 at checkout. The brewers at Adventures in Homebrewing have designed a huge selection of original recipes for extract and all-grain brewing. Adventures in Homebrewing original recipes are tried and tested, proven to be of the best quality. And right now, Adventures in Homebrewing is shipping 24 of their best recipes for free. Visit homebrewing.org for the most current selection. Once you try one of Adventures in Homebrewing recipes, you'll keep coming back for more. And now, it's even easier with free shipping on these kits. And don't forget to use the current coupon code AIH10. Adventures in Homebrewing at homebrewing.org.
www.brewing.org. You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
All right. Hey, welcome back to the program, and thanks everybody for sticking with us. We're having a good time in here, trying some great beer from MacLeod Ale Brewing. I also got to let you know, hey, remember that brewery game, JP?
I do, Glasses Man.
Great sponsor of ours, who's been with us for a few years now.
Yeah.
Well, they're back to let you know that that brewery game is still running strong. It's the online game that runs in your browser. You go to thatbrewerygame.com. It's dedicated to brewing beer and to craft brewers. They've been a regular sponsor of the BN and have a loyal following of brewers. The game's slow-paced and easy to play and completely free to get started, which is probably the coolest part. That brewery game players have brewed over 1 million virtual beers. That sounds like that's an incredible amount of beers.
That's a lot.
Over 1 million virtual beers. How many sessions of WoW have you played, for example, JP?
Well, define the session. Like just logging in to check my auction house,
know.
or like actually like questing and doing some hardcore raiding. I don't know. Maybe 500,000. I don't know.
500,000 times.
Right.
All right. Well, TBG players have brewed over 1 million.
And I like the game better because you're not farming for stuff to make other stuff. It's all right there. You don't have to sit there and slog hour after hour of
there's no slogging,
like running through Westfall or some nonsense.
That's exactly right.
There's no Westfall in this game.
There isn't even Westfall. What there is, though, you know what he just added? Rob is always adding different features to the game. He added ratty old couches.
Oh.
Why, you ask?
From the session?
It's because it's where you always scrounge up money when you need to buy brewing ingredients. You go dig through your ratty old couch, right? So he made virtual ratty old couches you can go dig through in the online pub because that's the best place to scrounge up some extra beer money.
I like it. That's pretty creative, actually.
Brewing the perfect beer in the game is complex and challenging. You have to know your stuff. It actually requires knowledge of recipes, ingredients, and the whole brewing process. So it's a complicated part of the thing to actually brew good beer. But socializing and playing the silly games like the sofa thing, that's easy. You can just pop in whenever you like and try to sell your virtual beer to other players. So it's a whole virtual beer marketplace. Go to thatbrewerygame.com and check it out. The TBG Oktoberfest event will be starting up this week, so it's a great time to get started. Lots of giveaways and virtual prizes, so sign up and join the party. Check it all out at thatbrewerygame.com.
It's extra perfect for the BN Army, for those of you that use the Brewing Network as your club. So, we're not a real club. So you have a virtual club. You brew your virtual beer.
Yes.
You sell it to your virtual friends at that brewery game. It's really perfect.
So you and your virtual friends. I think with virtual beer, it's much more like the real craft brewing industry every day.
Yes. Virtual.
Yes.
Sounds a lot cheaper than what we did.
It's a lot, yeah. So you didn't know about it beforehand.
Especially because you can start this for free, and I'm guessing it was a little bit more than free.
Yeah.
Less than free?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Speaking of our virtual club, JP, you'll be happy to know this.
I will be happy.
I just approved the final design for a new BN T-shirt that we've been wanting to put out for a couple of years now. We just never got around to it.
Yeah.
And it's a Brewing Network shirt. It says the Brewing Network on the front. And on the back, it says, not a real club since 2005. Since that's what all the other clubs like to say about us.
That does make me happy. Thank you for using that.
Jamil, when I accepted the award again this year for the fourth time for the club, I was joking on stage, having fun with Quaff, because Quaff has been so cool to us through this process. They've actually been one of the clubs that has not been dicks to us about winning. They've been very cool about it.
Because they can't.
And working really hard to win the club back, too. So I was giving some gentle ribbing. But one of the things I said on stage, and I was just off the cuff, I said, maybe you guys should get Jamil back brewing for you, and you could win again. And I didn't really think about it. I just said it.
That's a real dick move.
A friend of mine was at their meeting saying, yeah, I heard the Quaff guys weren't too happy about your Jamil comment. And I hadn't even thought about it. I was like, I was trying to joke. I didn't mean it as offensive. I guess it wasn't very nice.
No, that's not nice.
I didn't mean it that way, though. I thought it was funny at the time, but they were still cool. I guess maybe just a couple of the guys.
It's a great group of folks.
They are good.
They good sense of humor. And,
they do. They've been very cool to us.
Great brewers.
Yeah.
They do everything the
Well,
right way.
San Diego, I think it's their chance to win it back on the home court. So,
they can always win it.
That's what I'd like to see.
I can bring it.
Yeah,
that'd be great. I was really rooting for any club other than ours.
You weren't rooting for us at all.
No, I
was
wasn't.
too.
I wasn't at all. I was like, oh, and then the Brewing Network's like, oh, shit.
Well, be careful when you say that because you still have to remember because there was a part of that in me that thought it'd be mostly because I just wanted the pressure gone of everyone being dicks to us about winning.
Oh yeah.
But you have to remember that there are a lot of hardworking homebrewers in the Brewing Network Club that are brewing beer to make us win, and we you don't want to root against our club. I mean, these people are they're kicking ass and brewing great beer.
It's truly their club.
It's not rooting. It's not rooting against them. It's like this is the third time.
Yeah,
fourth time. See, there you go. It's it's time to let someone else win. I like to see other people spread the wealth, and so it's definitely not rooting against.
Yeah.
But I was definitely hoping that someone else would take it from us because. To me, that's the fun in homebrews, especially for an award like that, where it goes between clubs and there's like a thing. But when everyone just hates, and it's like,
you want people to put the effort out and to really try. When Quaff was winning, it's like and clubs say, "Oh, we're going to take it from you." It's like, yeah, come on, let's do it. You know, absolutely do your best. Let's have some fun at this.
It's the competition.
It was
Absolutely.
really close, wasn't it? I was surprised.
It was very close.
Very
Quaff's going to mop the floor with you, bastards.
Yeah, Quaff was getting some hate when they kept winning year after year.
Oh yeah, I was giving.
I remember when I'm with Doze, and we were like second behind him 3 years in a row.
Oh yeah,
and then 1 year, I guess 2010,
throwing lit bags of poop
won,
on our doorstep.
Right? We actually overtook them,
right?
And we thought that was pretty good since we only had like 60 members and they have 400.
Yeah,
of course, Brewing Network probably has
more. Yeah.
Something in the thousands of members, so and it's growing exponentially.
So, but whoever takes us down will feel the satisfaction that Doze felt by
Oh, and we'll be cheering the loudest for him too.
It's frustrating trying to do it because, like, Quaff, I mean, they put beer in almost every one of the regions.
Yeah. Although before I go cheering the loudest for whoever wins, we might need to research and find out which clubs have been booing for several years.
Exactly.
Because I'm all for cheering, but I'm not. I'm against poor sportsmanship. I'm against it.
That's good. That's like being against cyberbullying, right?
Yeah, I'm against it.
Yeah, good.
And so I don't know that I want to go like cheering loudly for someone who's been a shithead for 4 years.
No one will know.
Okay.
There's too many of them.
I guess you're right.
But
they'll all come up to us afterward. They'll be like, "Oh, it's so great to win, and you guys have been an inspiration. It's been great."
Yeah.
They're gonna look us right in the eye and lie like dicks.
Oh, for sure.
Anyway, let's get back to the beer. I have another great MacLeod ale in front of me right now. Oh, we got to do a phone call first, Beef?
There is a phone call.
Jew Brew from Pennsylvania.
I thought he said Drew, and then I asked him to clarify, and he said no.
He's like, no, it's
Jew.
No, I'm not going to clarify.
Like
Put me on the phone.
Well, he's got a question about cask beer, so let's talk to Jew Brew in Pennsylvania. Jew Brew, what's happening?
How you doing, Justin, JP? How are you guys?
Doing great.
How you doing, buddy?
So I had a little issue. I did a homebrew competition just the other day. I own 2 casks. One of them, every single time I seem to pin it, it's flat. I don't know why. Didn't know if that was a cask issue, if maybe it's not leaking when I'm actually filling it or when it's sitting there, room temperature to carbonate.
So what do you mean? So you put it in the cask, it conditions in the cask, and then when you go to serve it, it's flat. Is that what you're saying?
One of the 2 casks.
One of
Correct.
the 2.
I do 10-gallon batches. My latest one was an IPA, Chinook hops with mangoes.
All right,
so
wait.
Plenty of sugar.
Wait, if one of the 2 is not working out and the other one's fine, there's something wrong with that cast or how you're bunging it or
there must be.
The keystone, right? So if you're using plastic, try wood. If you're using wood, try plastic.
Is it a plastic cask?
No, I'm talking about your bung, your keystone. They come in wood, they come in plastics, and sometimes they fit or don't fit perfectly.
Yeah, in both casks so far, it's been the same exact bung.
Yeah, but if one's working and one's not, and everything else is the same,
change up the bung in the non-working one. To like a different material, like Jamil's saying, you could go buy the opposite of what you've been using, even if it's working in the good keg. Buy something different for the bad keg. You got to start isolating the problem. Process of elimination. So you could do both the bung and the keystone. Change them out at the same time. Why not?
Can I? It sounds like he's not getting it. Can I try to help him?
Really?
Would you mind?
Go ahead.
One worky, one no worky. Take one worky thing from worky, put in non-worky thing, remove non-worky thingy, worky.
No, except Jippy, that he said he took worky from worky and put it into non-worky and no worky.
You out-workied me.
So he's got to get new worky.
He clearly didn't do it right
to try worky.
The only other possibility is you're racking off into the cask, and you're pulling from the top of your fermenter, and you're not getting as much yeast into one as you are into the other. I mean, that's another possibility. Or you're not putting them in exactly the same temperature. You're not pitching the same amount or adding the same amount of sugar. You're adding more finings to one than the other. Or you have a leak. Mm-hmm. Those are the only possibilities, right?
I'm thinking there's a leak.
Right. So
one of the casks.
So what we've found is even with the same manufacturer of all our firkins, some of them work better with plastic. Some of them work better with wood. And so we mark them. This one is a plastic one. This one's a wood one.
Okay.
And some of them work better with one than the other. So you should have a collection of both. And if you're having a problem with one of the you're using pins. If you're having a problem with one of the pins using a plastic bungs on it, try the wood ones.
There you go. I have a stupid idea, believe it or not. So maybe it's a good idea. When I used to change tires and work on tires, the hardest tire to fix was the tire that was leaking slowly because you could never find it. So you submerge the tire into a tub of some kind because it bubbles. It's the easiest thing in the world to find. Could you do that with a cat? Like put the bung in a
totally empty. Yeah, bung it up.
See if it,
and then just stick it underwater and see if it bubbles.
See what's bubbling out of the keystone. Which part is? We would do that too. This tires were so big, you'd spray the whole thing.
It won't be under pressure. I mean, once you, I guess you have beer in it and it's
throw some sugar and some yeast in it.
You could actually seal it up empty and submerge it in a tub and it'll bubble.
It'll bubble.
Yeah.
And you
I see.
There you go.
You're just looking for bubbles.
Yeah.
Good job, Justin.
See?
Bubbly, no bubbly. Find no bubbly, solve bubbly.
I knew that one day I would have one use for that fucking 5 miserable years of changing tires. And it's to help out Jew Brew in Pennsylvania. So you're welcome.
If I can throw in like a non-sarcastic comment.
Yes.
No, that's not going to work.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, well, you're an asshole. So,
okay. Now go ahead.
Yeah. Jeez. Whatever. We had some issues with some plastic pins where our assistant brewer bent the keystone on the cask, and you got a gas leak out of that. And if you condition the cask standing up, the keystone up, which is where you put the tap in, that's the bit that's the keystone.
Okay.
If you that's standing up, that's an area, really easy point in the cask to bend, and you'll get a gas leak there really easily. So it'd be helpful to go in and examine to make sure that all of those areas are in the condition that you bought the cask in originally. Because we had one cask and then the other cask. One worky, one no worky.
One no worky.
Yep. Yeah. And I had to drive through LA traffic to bring the not worky back to the tasting room and go bring back the worky one.
Right.
The worky bar that was selling our worky beer.
Good. Yeah.
Now I understand him. Jude probably gets it too.
Yeah, everybody.
It's just common language, Jude. It's not hard.
No.
It
either worky or it no worky.
Right. Solve no worky. It's like algebra. It's like dumb algebra.
Thank you for the call, Jew Brew. We appreciate it. And all calls, 888-401-BEER if you want to call in and ask your own questions, too. Or hit the chat button on the homepage. Bevo is in there sending me your questions now. All right, so let's talk about the beer in my glass. What is the name of this beer, Andy?
It's the beer in your glass.
It's one you told me to order. I just can't remember the name, so forgive me.
Oh, yeah, it was the Heretics
Texas?
beer. No, it's King's Taxes. It's a Scottish 60 shilling.
There we go.
The shilling designation is not chosen off of BJCP, just to throw things in the mix there. Not BJCP, but we went off of historical brewing records because I was a bit annoyed about the shilling designations within BJCP not being linked to a historical time point, because the shilling is linked to tax and price of beer during specific time periods. So with inflation, things increase in price. So the shilling designation is based off of the price of William and Younger's beer from 1880.
Okay.
Which is, you then equate that price to a certain gravity.
I see.
He does get kind of bitchy.
Ouch.
Jennifer's
From
like,
you?
I'm glad you said it.
No, I like it, though.
Yeah.
It's like the super craft beer, not nerd, but bitchy.
Yeah.
I didn't know I need a calculator to drink this beer.
It's refreshing. It's very nice. It's actually someone who can tie in the history of the beer
with the beer.
With the beer. With
And
the current beer.
Jamil, I don't know if you know, they actually give out a calculator with each pint at the brewery.
Nice.
It's an abacus, really, but let's not.
We cascade the calculators.
Actually, one of my favorite Yelp reviews was, it was on Untapped. Someone said, it's actually more like an 80 shilling. I thought that was really
and you could just watch Andy's head just explode out the side.
Inflation, dude.
I think I was intentionally not told about that one.
Now, I like this beer even better than the bitter.
It's very good.
This is fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, this one is on draft, not on the cask. Yet you have, I think, still carbonated it appropriately, right? It's a lower carbonation.
We deliberately aim for a low level of carbonation. So, I can throw the brewer's negatives into it. We don't get as much head formation out of the beer as we could do.
I can see that.
It's well apparent.
There is no head.
Yeah.
Although I'll be honest with you, I didn't know if that's if there should be or not. Are there styles that aren't supposed to have head retention?
I think the expectation of the consumer, the bear should have a head on it.
Okay.
You know, you think something when the beer doesn't have a head on it. I feel.
All right.
That's a negative. We should be able to get a head on it. It's. I was trained in cask ale. This whole keg beer, I don't know what you guys are on about.
Is there something you could do ingredient-wise without changing the profile of the beer too much to get more head retention and still serve at a low carbonation,
Probably.
or it won't?
There's probably more knowledge in the room on that.
Tasty, what do you think?
Well, you got to have carbonation to get foam, right?
Well, it's not flat though.
Well, it's almost flat.
Okay,
I'd say it's under.
You could serve it on nitrogen,
half of ice,
which is kind of the fake cask thing. So all this nitrogenated beer, the whole purpose of nitrogenated beer is to fake cask serving or cask conditioning.
Right. Okay.
It's because they couldn't be bothered to actually pour beer correctly. They had to fake it. So they started using the nitrogen, and that's how they get it to
Guinness
foam
came up with it in the 1930s.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then that's all nitrogenation is. So when people ask me for nitrogenated beers, it kind of kills me because we offer cask conditioned beers too.
Okay.
I actually hate nitrogen beers.
And like, oh no, but nitrogen. I'm like, oh my god, you don't
dislike
understand the whole purpose.
They don't
of
taste good.
If I can be a brewer who's only a couple months into running all the beer, it's a lower level of carbonation than I would aim for.
Sure.
Okay. We're aiming to bring it up. We want better head formation of the beer.
But it's still going to be really low level carbonation. It's just you want more than what you've got here.
Right, but we target 1.8 vol to 2, and we're not even there yet.
Okay, so this is what you've been calling keg product versus cask.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why don't you just on keg product? Why don't you just dial in the carbonation for that?
We don't have a bright tank.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're coming out of the fermenter.
This is all
but you could
naturally
carbonate it in the
carbonated.
keg, right? You could just
we could force
apply
carbonate
head pressure.
Yes, all the products are naturally carbonated. The typical process that we do, we've primed some beers, but we do what the closest thing I can call it is just catch method, because we don't have a Spunding valve, which would be more German. We will get to 2 points above finishing fermentation. We will cold crash, get the yeast down to 2 million cells per milliliter or between 1 and 2 million cells per milliliter, and then take it off cold condition and then rack into vessel. So we have a bit of residual sugar, and then with 24 hours of warm conditioning, we get the yeast to reactivate. and then they finish fermentation.
And some of that goes into keg, some goes into cask.
Yeah, but it's exactly the same beer at the point of racking.
Right. Now, in cask, does it carbonate better than it does in keg?
It's the means of service require a different carbonation level. Like the keg will, this is like we're in the early stages of the brewing. We're still dying a lot of stuff in.
Sure.
But the casks will have to vent CO2. We don't have to vent as long as other places that make cask ale. But that's because the carbonation level is lower. With the keg beer, we'd like a higher level of carbonation.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I still think we're an appreciable level, but the American consumer is expecting typically a higher level of carbonation, as you rightly point out.
Yeah,
and
not much, but some.
Yeah, we're aiming for low. We want the beer to be a facsimile of the cask product, but on keg. But it's still too low.
Yeah.
It's with some of the beers you'll notice a certain syrupiness, which is not something that we want. We want better head formation.
Yeah, I think it'll be.
You want a good looking beer.
Yeah, it'll look good in the glass. And this beer tastes great. I love it.
It does. And look, 3 months into this, and you've served us the best bitter that Jamil's ever had in the United States. And I like this one even better. I agree, it could have a little carbonation in there, a little more. But the flavor's fantastic.
Thank you.
It's a great 60 or 80, whatever.
Yeah. Have you had people in the tap room complain? Maybe not complain, but
punch them in the
ask
face. What? No.
Is that what you do when they? I was going to ask if they
They're
ever
not allowed
ask
to
you
talk to me.
No eye contact.
What's the deal with this beer? This flat
right.
beer?
Or like, this is flat, or this isn't cold enough, or does that happen often? Has it
Never.
happened?
It's mostly curiosity.
Not one time.
Good.
I mean, I've seen a couple comments on Untapped, but mostly it has to do with like, oh, this is too low ABV. It's not my thing. But
well, the people using Untapped tend to be beer nerds, so they know what to expect. So those aren't going to be the ones to complain about temperature or carbonation. Yep. People on Yelp, on the other hand, people just coming in to try your beer, there you might see something like, I don't know, the beer's fine. They don't know anything about it.
Or just in person, in the tap room.
No, never. I mean, people like 100 to 1 or 300, whatever. People come in and they're ecstatic about the beer. They love that they can drink it. A lot of it. It goes down really easy.
Sure.
They love it. Not a single comment about it's flat.
That's very encouraging.
The most annoying reviews we got.
Answer.
The most annoying reviews we got were actually on Beer Advocate. Was two people that I'm not exactly sure who they are, but there are people that should know better. I know of them in the scene, and they said that the cask ale was undercarbonated. And they're like, it's fucking cask ale, douche.
Also, it wasn't hoppy enough.
Exactly, wrong one.
Yeah. And they're like, what are you guys on about?
Yeah. But that happens. I mean, it happens to everybody, whether the review is true or not.
Yeah, I graffitied your bathroom, by the way.
Fucker.
That was you?
No.
Dick.
I like the glass shelf, though. And the ice cubes for keeping our cask cold.
Yeah, we got a glass shelf in our urinals now, and we put up a cork board where the first graffiti showed up, thinking that people can stick their fingers in it or something.
Yeah, my spray paint really stuck to that really well.
Have to do something.
You notice somebody took I don't know if it was their fingernail or what, and scratched the corkboard a little bit.
Did they?
Oh yes,
of course they did.
You should McMaster and Carr get cheap corkboard.
What else are you going to do while you're standing there taking a leak but deface somebody's property?
Trying to find your wiener, mainly.
I mean, really.
That's me.
3 shakes. Come on, finish.
Do you think that... Forgive me for a moment, Jennifer, as I tend to do this.
You just turn her headphones off?
No, it's not going to get bad. I just mean I digress. Do you think that before we all had ADD as a society, I mean, we have Facebook all the time, like look at the phone, we can never be doing nothing.
Right.
Was graffiti in the bathroom as much of a problem when we could stand and do nothing for like 35 seconds at a time?
Yeah, where do you think cave paintings came from, dude? It's not because like cavemen...
So it's always a problem?
It's not because the part of the brain starting to express itself. No, they're just like, well, fucking no four-legged running, no stabby, me draw.
Mouth no worky.
Yeah. For a good time at 1.
Yeah. Me take berry juice, rub on thing.
Throw rock for good time.
Right.
They're at the hop stone axe.
For a good time, turn round.
For a good time, stay facing this way. Anyway,
That's what happened.
It's just the defacing of property. It just boggles my mind, is what it is. I just don't get it.
Well, here in the
especially
heart
at the
of
urinal.
Concord.
But yeah, it's every bathroom you've been to, and it's particularly at the bathroom because it just makes me think that whoever the person is so bored with themselves that for the 35 seconds it takes to urinate, they must do something else. You got one hand doing the thing, and the other must scrape things.
It might not be that they're bored. They might just really love their gang, and they got to represent.
Well, I was at Toronado, and JP's face was carved all over the wall.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I
Do
was
not
just
let this
amazed
guy.
by it.
No, the bathhouse I was at had them all over. Yeah.
Oh, I sponsor it now. They pay me. So that's where you want to be. That's the level you want to be. You're not graffiti anymore. You're an advertiser.
You're actually an advertiser. Bathhouse.
That's how Sir 13 gets all their money. Didn't you know that?
I didn't know that.
And moving on.
All right.
Oh, did we get distracted?
Tell us about the ingredients of the beer. I got a few other things we got to get to tonight, too. So tell us about the beer.
It's got malt in it.
Good.
Yep.
And that was a great show with MacLeod.
Tasty's writing this down.
All right. We'll start 4.3%, 1047 starting gravity, 1013 finishing, 23 IBU. It is 89.5% golden promise, 3.5% black malt, 2% flake barley, and 5% a special proprietary number 2 invert sugar syrup.
Why is it special proprietary?
Because I can't fucking buy it in the U.S.
You make it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm trying to supply it right now, but through a sugar wholesaler. But I called every friggin' place that makes it in England, and no one goddamn called me back. So I had to make it. It takes friggin' 5 hours to make this shit.
How did you learn to make it? Did you learn it in England, or you just sort of backwards
through researching
engineer?
the style.
Okay.
I mean, most of English beer is like it's bitters and pale ales, so it's not something I was really taught to make. It's just diving into the history of the style. But history is fraught with minefields, so I was trying to make this historical Scottish style, and then now I read some recent research, and yes,
you were duped.
Sugar isn't really as prevalent in Scotland as I thought it was.
Okay.
But it gives the beer a particular flavor profile of this kind of maple syrup elements, and some of the kind of tobacco notes I would say are related to the using of the sugar syrup. So we keep doing it.
Okay.
I could probably mimic it with malt, but I like the note that it gives the beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that sometimes if we have a little bit of a, let's say, a challenging fermentation, it'll end up with some of those more pure, like just simple syrup sugar notes that aren't as pleasant to drink.
Okay.
But that was more on small scale stuff that you get that kind of flavor profile. It's something that, so it's something that we make specifically for this beer.
And what is that flavor that I would detect in the beer from this sugar versus, say, simple sugar?
Yeah, well, the invert process, just making it an invert sugar is to be more traditional. I might be able to do it without inverting it, but it makes it more fermentable generally too.
Okay.
And then you have the darkening it to a number 2.
So it caramelizes to some extent.
It comes out almost darker than this. I'd say.
Really?
So it doesn't look like a number 1; it looks more like a number 2.
It's much darker.
Yeah, that is spot on. Yeah,
that worky.
But then the question is what is number 3 syrup? It gets pretty caramelized, so you get maple syrup-esque flavors, almost verging on like oak aged flavor. Sometimes people pull pipe tobacco notes out of it.
Nice. This is something like our listeners that are do-it-yourselfers, they may want to try this.
Oh,
totally.
yeah.
Is it like a double boiler or something? How do you?
We have a link on our website, by the way, to Andy's resource for how to do it yourself.
Oh,
so
cool.
If you want to do it, you can.
What's the website name?
I believe it's Unholy Mess. It's a blog that is, I believe, no longer active. I think he was an American home brewer, but he originally started out cataloging Ron Pattinson's recipes. Mm-hmm. He does a lot of historical beer research, and the guy who writes Unholy Mess, or it's either Unholy Mess or Half a Cat. Just search Unholy Mess, invert syrup, you'll get it.
Both make an unholy mess.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
You fall asleep during the boiling of sugar, and it's all over your kitchen.
Or the link is on MacLeodale.com.
Yeah, if you go to, I think we have a description of our beers, which Andy wrote, and on there, if you plow through that, there's a link somewhere in there.
Okay.
You can make your own.
We're hoping to get an American source of it, or a U.S. sourced version of it soon, so that we don't have to make it, and then hopefully they'll start to have it available on the American market, because we would just use Belgian candy, but it's all made with beet, and I don't think you get the same flavor profile using a beet candy sugar that you would have just using straight cane.
Okay. Or like you said, now I really like the flavor of this beer, and when you point out what I might be picking up from that, I wouldn't recommend changing it. But you had mentioned you could not use it, and it would still be a traditional way to make the beer.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be traditional. Making historical beer is fraught with problems, and you can argue any point under the sun.
Okay.
You just think of like the IPA book. You're like,
Sure.
what we're making isn't IPA, but we're going to still call it an IPA. And you're like, well, I guess it's an IPA then, but it's not the IPA that Hodgson's made in the whenever.
Yeah. So same with this beer.
Yeah, like we're using some modern ingredients to update it for it, because we don't want the terribly modified malt that they had in the 1800s.
Okay.
Stuff like that. We're not going to use terrible hops that sat on a ship for 6 months going across the ocean to Scotland.
Pussy.
Yeah, I know, right?
I am such
you
a
really
whiner.
want to go,
bitch.
You are a bitchy whiner, Andy.
Right.
You really want to go traditional here. Get on a boat, man.
We do make one very historically accurate beer that's going to be a winter seasonal for us, and that I do, I guess, make more of an effort to be more accurate. But
you should go really brew a Brewdog, because they got it down, man.
They're very authentic.
Oh, traditional Scottish beers?
Yeah.
Him
and Dogfish Head.
Yeah, so like it wouldn't be traditional necessarily to use like a bunch of different roasted barleys and whatnot, because you could approximate the flavor profile that we're getting in this. I feel like you probably could.
Okay.
Because brewers are there's boundless talent out there to mimic certain flavor profiles.
Yeah,
you could probably get there. I haven't tried.
Okay,
I'm just gonna go with this.
Well, now you have a great story about how you slaved over a hot stove for 5 hours to make the syrup.
Yeah,
and had several boilovers or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or
I ruined my stove
don't
in
tell
my
Andy's
apartment.
manager.
Yeah,
Oops.
and it's now I heat up my stove and this sugar syrup leaks underneath the stove into the kitchen floor, and my dog like scratches at it.
Oh yeah,
and he'll lick it up a little bit, but then it's all over his paws, and then he tracks it all over the house.
Right. Goodbye security deposit.
You're gonna have to call Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh. But
well,
for the beer.
The beer is fantastic. You've got yourself a good brewer, Jennifer.
Sure as hell do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy.
And it sounds like you two have opened a great brewery. I'd love to come down and see it next time we're passing through there. Just great to have you on to talk with us. I think I got another question from the chat for you, too, before we go.
Cool. Try the stout.
Why don't they call it Van Nuys?
Oh, I did when I moved there.
I think there is. We do have a customer that calls us Venusians. Is that close? If we're from Van Nuys, we're Venusians.
Venetian.
Yeah.
Like Martians from Martinez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we got Mike on the line. He's got a question about Golden Promise malt. Hey, Mike, what's happening?
Mike.
It's the best. Done.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, I just have a question about Golden Promise in regards to its availability, and is it one of these malts that's is it hard to find? I've kind of heard a couple things about it. I've also heard that there's a brewery that bought all the Golden Promise this year.
Where are you located?
I am located in Washington.
I'm on Mars.
And are you buying on a pro scale or homebrew?
A pro
homebrew scale.
Try like more beer.
Yeah.
Northern Brewer. I think I can get Golden Promise through Brewer Supply Group.
I'm on More Beer right now, and you can get Simpson's Golden Promise malt right now.
There you go.
I think the answer is no.
You can buy it in small, or you can get a whole 55-pound sack of Simpson Golden Promise at morebeer.com.
Go with the sack.
Yeah. Always go. Listen, if there's ever any doubt,
go to the sack.
You go with the sack.
You think Golden Promise is a beer at the Pinups and Pints place?
No.
Golden
Should
Shower.
be, though.
Yeah, Golden Shower is.
Golden Promise. Is much more alluring.
It's too clean.
Yeah.
But it's with the hint of naughty.
The euphemism.
We like it dirty.
Yeah.
Justin and I. I'm just saying.
That's right. Does that do it for you, Mike?
That does. Thanks a lot. That was a simple question, easy answer. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the call, brother.
Yeah.
Does Mike work for More Beer? Where can I get Amarillo hops? No, I can't find them anywhere.
If I lived
with reasonable shipping.
If I lived anywhere that USPS delivers
in the continental United States, where could I get this for a flat shipping rate of $7.99?
Now, does anybody wonder why we get 2 phone calls a show? Because you can't call in without us treating you like an asshole.
Yeah, but you kind of are an asshole when you
But
when
come
you
on.
when
you listen to the show?
when you ask a question that is easily answered via Google.
Guess so.
How do I tie my shoes? I can't figure it out. I've been wearing sandals for 10 years. I forgot. I don't know. YouTube it, dude. Get out of here. Get in my face.
Our calls, when we started in 2005, we got calls throughout the whole show, and it's gone down to this. And it's taken me this long to realize it's because we're assholes. Why would you call us?
It took you this long to realize?
Why would you ever call us?
Year 2, I think I knew.
It's amazing.
I was trying to bump up your caller load, too. I was trying to get Riggs to call in.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know. Hana, it'd really mess things up, probably.
Yeah.
I think he's been...
I saw that guy.
He's like knee-deep in, grains right now. He hasn't called in a while. I think he's brewing too much.
Yeah, that or he's tired of us making racist Mexican jokes every time he calls into the show.
I hung out with him, dude. Actually, I have a bottle of his Ode Brewing I need to bring in.
Oh, dude.
It's real good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Oh, Mexican guy.
Fancy that. Makes a great brown.
Yeah.
See?
We both went the same way.
That's right.
He made a honey saison. It was real good. And I don't like honey.
No, he didn't.
Saison, it is real good.
Oh.
Yeah. But that guy's working his ass off, man, for sure.
I'm sure.
Who's this?
There's old Rick's now.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Well, now the phone's ringing off the hook.
Everybody wants. I got a question for my chat here. Somebody told me to ask you guys about expansion plans. What's up with that?
Oh, this is a great opportunity for me to talk about.
How could there be expansion plans after 3 months? You guys are
Welcome to
amazing.
American
Sorry, go ahead. But
Yeah.
I'm just amazed that you're even like, what? What are you talking about?
Well, you plan year 2, 3, 4, 5, so...
That's what Tom Hennessy said. He said any new brewery that opens up, he always says, "How are your expansion plans coming?"
Nice. Okay.
So we're renting half of our building, and we've always had an eye on taking over the other half, and we want to start bottling and doing all that stuff. But we have like $10 left over after opening our brewery.
Yeah.
So it's a little tough.
Yeah.
So we are going to be launching this great opportunity, hopefully, for our fans. We're going to be having a MacLeod Ale Founders Club.
Nice.
And we're going to hope to raise funds that way by offering beer for life.
Oh.
For life.
I'll take some beer for life.
Forever and ever.
All right, well, I have to do some math on that, but I'll
Well, Tasty better.
I've only got a few years.
He's like, look, if it's more than $20, I'll just buy it.
Yeah. We're pretty much banking on you buying at least one.
Beeb and I are down there enough. We should do this thing.
Yeah, founders.
Yeah, so we're going to have a few different levels where people can, help us out. It's basically like lending us money, and we'll pay you back in beer.
Right.
Beautiful.
We're going to be launching this in a week or so on Indiegogo, and hopefully we'll get enough money from that where we can expand into next door.
Okay.
And get our bottling line of 4 bottles at a time going. It's funny to call it a bottling line. We have one of those bottling machines.
Like a bottling
4 at a
stream.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, remember the 2 points make a line instead.
Yeah,
So your
exactly.
the 4-head filler is a bottling line.
The line's supposed to be wide, not narrow.
The 2-head filler is a bottom line,
Looking down
too.
the
That's
line.
right.
Poor Andy also, he needs an auger because he's tired of climbing up that ladder and pouring all the grain
I wanted a
into-
grist case and a hydrator.
Yeah.
And then a ladder.
You'll be lucky to get a ladder, mister.
I know. I'm grateful. My biggest problem is I favor one leg climbing up the ladder, so one really big leg.
Yeah. I thought you had a little limp out there. Yeah. Just dragging the other one.
Yeah. Luckily, we're making session beer, so it's only a couple trips up the ladder.
There you go.
Yeah,
well, if you're
3.8,
interested,
why are you whining? Yeah, come on.
Yeah, only 5 bags of grain, so it's fine.
You're fine. Well, if you're interested in the Indiegogo campaign, it sounds like you can go to MacLeodAle.com in coming weeks, and you'll have an update for us.
Yeah, we're launching it on the 23rd during LA Beer Week, and it's a really incredible deal because whatever level you choose, you'll be able to pay off your investment within 6 months usually
By
to utilize
punishing
it.
your liver, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's low ABV. Like, it's just hard work to punish your liver with this stuff.
Oh.
Vitamins.
I'm doing it. I'm 5 in. I mean, really.
And look at Jamil. He looks great.
Well,
picture of health
compared to a corpse. Yes, I'm looking pretty good.
Yeah. All right, MacLeodAle.com. Jennifer, you've made a great company here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, thanks for being on, Andy. We appreciate it very much. Alistair, thanks for hanging out with us. It's fun to have you guys in the studio.
Yeah, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you.
Well, if you come back to the Bay for any events, we will take a cask any time.
Yes.
We will purchase one for the Hop Grenade and serve it here to our patrons because we think they should know about cask beer too.
And more importantly, bagpipes next time.
Oh, yeah.
I feel teased.
yeah.
I feel teased right now.
We got a little gypped on the bagpipe.
Well, I'm trying to poke
That's trademarked,
around
by the
during
way.
the pre-interview, and Jennifer failed to disclose that. Otherwise, I would have made her bring the
Required
bagpipe
the
and
bagpipe.
performing on air for sure.
Yeah, I do want to mention that, I am a piper, and all of our beers are named after bagpiping tunes.
Excellent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's a fun
What are
way
they?
of avoiding any name conflicts with any
that's
other
true.
brewery ever. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Hop Grenade Pipe is the next one that
and-
they're.
That's a little
if there's a name we want, I can just write a tune and then it's legit.
There
but
you
I
go.
do if
We're
you
doing
come
Debbie does Edinburgh.
if you come into the tasting room and it's your birthday, generally I will play Happy Birthday for you on the
Really?
birthday.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
going down November 7th.
Wow.
On November 1st. Scorpio.
There you go.
There we go.
Are you as crazy as he is then?
Yes.
Kind of.
Alistair
Yes.
didn't say a word. He just smiling.
Alistair doesn't even know me that well, and
When
already
you're married to a Scorpio, you learn to zip it.
She's only crazy because she's a woman.
It's not the Scorpio.
Oh, you're gonna pay for that.
Maybe he bought the book on women's psychology.
He must.
Trying to figure that shit out.
Oh, from Amazon the other
reference.
week.
There
Yes.
we go.
Andy, before I let you go, there was one more question that came through from the chat.
Famous.
What's your worst brewing disaster so far?
Most of everything.
Not the beers we've had, no. Anything, any dumps in the brewer? Well,
We've had one
Wow.
dump.
Wow.
Low attenuation on I was actually a King's Texas beer.
Okay.
Yeah. Finished fermenting at 10:20. Home brewing, professional brewing, whatever, never had a stuck fermentation, and it's just like one after another.
Right now. Oh.
So it's been a lot of learning about how to fix those.
Okay. But no
probably-
major floods or fires or...
Anything short of a total brewery at this point, we've heard too much. So we need you to up the ante.
Yeah, I know. You guys have heard it. Everything after going to Rare Barrel and they're seeing the spot that flooded.
Yeah. You mean their entire parking lot?
Yeah.
That spot?
There's still fruit flies in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's no small feat. The biggest disaster that happened was someone forgot to put a valve on, but I'm quite good with tri-clamp, so it didn't end up being a problem.
You saved it.
I know.
Doesn't count.
Sucks.
That means that it's coming.
Yes. It's
I
around
know.
the corner.
Yeah. Watch
We're going to have
out.
an element burnout in the middle of a boil, probably.
That could be
Supposed to
rough,
happen.
couldn't it?
Well, that's just the end of the boil, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next big earthquake, That's
Yeah.
around the corner.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing, it's just a long-term issue. You have poor attenuation, and just like it's a nerdy kind of problem to have where it's not exciting. It's not a sexy problem where your apartment floods and we're like, wow, this is a major like movie disaster or whatever. You're
But
just
it's a
like,
big problem.
wow, the numbers, they're like not good. Exactly, but that's fucking being a brewer. It's just like, wow, our attenuation's declining.
Yeah.
What is one of 1,000 different problems we can be having right now?
My fan levels in my malt are declining, and I don't know why.
And then you get your gun out, and roll across the hood of the car. Yeah?
Oh, I thought you were just saying harakiri on the brew house floor. We got quite high rafters. We got some rope around.
Well, next time we have you
Too
in,
soon.
I expect to hear
Robin
about
Williams.
some major disaster. Sorry, Jennifer, but I expect to hear about a fire, a flood, or something.
If you'll have me back on, I'll be happy to come up with something.
You're right. Just lie.
Yeah, make something happen.
JP came by. It was his birthday.
Worst disaster ever.
He was like happy and shit.
Yeah, he was having a good time.
Really?
Worst
That's where we're going?
ever.
You guys are dicks.
We ran out of beer. That was our worst disaster.
That's bad.
Hey, there you go.
We haven't talked about that for a while, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I got really sick and we
Yeah.
couldn't brew it all. And then I was so sick I couldn't even order grain.
So meaning that like tasting room's open. People are coming in, and there's no beer.
No, we had to close the tasting room for a week.
A week?
Thus the assistant brewer gets hired. Yes.
It's the week after.
Actually, that was... Yeah.
We need somebody in case you die.
Yes, exactly. I have brought up the hit by a bus thing a few times.
Yeah. Well, see, when you said you built a brewery, it could all be done by you, by one person, all I could think was, I try to build everything so that I could get fired. Like, I don't want to be, who wants to be there all the time?
The joy of brewing it yourself is that, like, if there's a fucking problem with it, it's your damn fault, and you got to deal with it.
Sure.
So, but then it's also your damn fault, and you can't yell at anyone.
Right. That's why you should start outsourcing as soon as possible.
Yeah. I don't trust anyone, though.
Well, train that assistant brewer right, and you got to need some backup.
I hope Grant's hearing that.
Yeah. Get it right, Grant. All right. Hey, thanks again for coming to the studio, guys. We appreciate it very much. You can still come down to the Hop Grenade and try their beer tonight, probably tomorrow. I'm not sure if we'll have the cast tomorrow, but we've got the other beers on tap, too. So come on down to the Hop Grenade and try it, or go see them in Van Nuys.
It's right in between Reseda and Canada Park.
Yeah, right there.
Well, if you're doing the kind of loop through Ladyface and Agora Hills and whatnot, we're kind of in that area.
Oh, Ladyface is awesome, too.
Yeah,
you can hit
Porter the other night.
Yeah, Ladyface, then us, and then go to Golden Road and go to Eagle Rock.
That's a good loop.
Yeah.
Right
yeah, if you're going down the 101, we're right.
It's 90,000 square miles, but it's a great loop.
And it takes 6 days on the 405, but it's all right there.
Traffic starts at 2 in the morning and ends at 1 in the morning.
Never o'clock.
Yeah.
Or just go to MacLeod and Eagle Rock. Just skip everybody else.
Just go right there.
Oh, my God. If you like session beers, these are the two breweries, man. I'm telling you.
There you go.
Take it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got more to do. I'm supposed to let you know quickly that our good friend Nico Brew is actually going to be in town on Thursday.
This Thursday.
And I guess he's coming to hang out at the Hop Grenade around noon with some other friends. So if anyone wants to come and hang out with Nico Brew, I think I can make it on Thursday. I know JP's going to be here.
I will be here for shizzle.
So a little hangout, little lunchtime beer at the Hop Grenade. That's this Thursday right here at the Hop Grenade.
I also heard Nico's buying. I heard all the drinks. Actually, he's going to come in and buy a round for the entire place.
Great.
So if we fill it up, he's going to buy.
Excellent.
That's unconfirmed, but that's my assumption.
Then I'm definitely available Thursday.
That's what I think, too.
At noon.
Free beer.
All right, so come on down. When we come back, we got a little beer news for you and a couple other things to do as well, including feedback. Got to wrap up our Twitter game, find out who our winner is. I think we could, can we give our winner a MacLeod Brewing t-shirt of the Twitter game? I saw you guys brought some t-shirts in, so we'll do that. And we'll be right back after these messages. Hang on.
You're listening to the Brewcasters.
On the Brewing Network.
The best thing to happen to brewer's yeast in a century is from White Labs. For pro brewers and home brewers, yeast in the new Pure Pitch package powered by FlexCell technology redefines how fresh your yeast can really be. That's because your yeast is cultured, grown, and delivered all in the same Pure Pitch package. It's never been transferred and never been exposed to the environment. Pure Pitch is powered by White Labs' proprietary FlexCell container, which took 6 years to develop and is designed to be the best home your yeast has ever traveled in. Just cut open a Pure Pitch package and pitch the purest yeast possible. Learn more about Pure Pitch powered by FlexCell technology at whitelabs.com. And while you're there, sign up for one of the many great classes White Labs offers, like Yeast Essentials 2.0 coming up August 22nd and 23rd, or any one of their great workshops for brewers, distillers, and vendors. Pure Pitch from White Labs. 6 years to develop, refine, and perfect. 2 seconds to open.
Hey, Wooly, I'm beat. Can we find a nice tree to just hang out in for a while?
You're beat. I've been swinging through this forest for 50 years, ever since we first escaped from the circus. I know, but there's got to be more to life than exploring this creek and trying to populate the valley by copulating with loose, hairy girls. Marquis, stop. Look! What is that? It looks like a man-made treehouse with fresh food and craft beer.
Welcome to the Creek Monkey Tap House, boys. Grab a seat. Creek Monkeys drink free.
Awesome! The Creek Monkey Tap House in Martinez, California takes their mission of fresh food and beer seriously. They only serve locally raised beef and chicken, as well as local sustainable produce. It's better for you and the planet, and it just tastes better. The beer and wine at Creek Monkey Tap House are chosen with the same care for the highest quality and rotate frequently to make each visit an adventure. Swing on into the Creek Monkey Tap House and enjoy a new legend of amazing food, beer, and wine. The Creek Monkey Tap House, online at creekmonkey.com.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamil Zainashev, and I love a bold, hoppy beer, one that spits resin in your face and makes you cry, Uncle. There are a lot of great hoppy beers out there, but at Heretic, we want to make something as bold, dank, and resiny as possible. We use hops at every chance we get, including multiple dry hop additions. The result is Heretic Evil Cousin. This light golden, 8% Imperial IPA has an easy malt character that helps take the edge off the massive bittering, but it takes a back seat to the in-your-face hop character. We make sure this beer finishes dry so the hops can jump out and slam you in the taste buds. If you can't get enough hoppy goodness, Evil Cousin is your cup of tea. Cheers.
Here's a bite for beer lovers. Soft caramel made with real craft brew and coated in chocolate. And Hop Drops, hard candies made with real hop oil. Introducing Beer Candy from beercandy.com. Beer Candy's amazing caramels come in 4 mouth-watering flavors. IPA, bitter gold, wrapped in smooth white chocolate. Lager, made with a familiar beer from Boston and coated in milk chocolate. Lambic, soury Belgian goodness full of fresh raspberry and dipped in dark chocolate. And Stout, roasty cocoa chocolate insanity. Hop Drops are made with Fuggles or Cascade hops and are known as the candy that bites you back. Choose from sampler and full sizes of both and make your mouth jump to life. All at beercandy.com. Hop Drops and beer caramels. Satisfy your sweet tooth as only a beer lover could with Beer Candy. Visit beercandy.com today.
Segmented, demented, fermented. It's the session.
Yeah, welcome back. Great show tonight. I'm having fun. Good beer, good session beer. So we're not even.
I'm 6 pints in,
and you're fine.
Jamil's powering through it over here.
He is, but he's also a picture of sobriety because they're all like 3.2%.
Well, he goosed me in the men's room, but otherwise, like on air, you're right. He sounds great.
That's just because you're growing on him.
Yeah,
you know.
He was growing on me. I'm telling you.
All over me.
I've had nothing but the Firestone Easy Jack, so sessionable, and MacLeod beers tonight, too. I don't know. Maybe this works for good broadcasting or something. Low alcohol beers.
I love them.
Seems counterintuitive to me.
Can't get enough of
sobriety. Counterintuitive. Sobriety seems counterintuitive to me. I'm just saying.
But it seems to be working tonight. It's
get a good buzz on with it.
Got some good information out and all sorts of good stuff. So that's fun. I want to point out. I have a question for JP. We were in the restroom together.
I think we were all in there for a while.
We were all in there together.
Well, there's no door lock, or else we'd be there for longer.
It often happens at the break. And I noticed, JP, that you washed your hands.
Yes.
That's so.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
But you don't use the Dyson to dry your hands.
Yes.
You shake them vigorously.
Yes.
And then
because the Dyson is for small children,
and then
you've got the wrong size.
and then you leave with wet hands.
I do.
What's wrong with the Dyson?
Because it's the same. It's less sanitary than the paper towel.
It's not.
It is. It's just like the air blower, like the standard air dryer that you push the big button and it goes for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Except it blows it up in your face too. I get like spatters in my face.
It's just recycled.
What spatters in your face?
It's the recycled air from the bathroom, and it bothers me. So I shake them real hard.
But you're
and then I
breathing
leave.
the air in the bathroom.
Yeah, but I don't want to touch it, and then I touch my face or whatever.
But you are touching it by walking through the bathroom.
But it's different. It's different. I don't know. It's a mental thing. I don't know.
This is what I'm getting at. I have. There's no rhyme or reason for my germophobia, but this is even weirder.
No. I know you guys spared no expense in getting the finest equipment in that bathroom.
Yes.
You probably spent like $2,500, $3,000 on these Dyson machines.
Well,
but Jesus Christ.
Yes.
They got the gray one. They got the blue one. They got the blue one's like, I think, the child one. I think it's.
You're talking about the size?
I think it's the little people child version that you have. My hands do not fit in the little slots without touching the sides.
What is wrong that's the other thing. It's like playing Operation. You
I
can't
have never touched the side. What is wrong with your meat mitts?
You've got those delicate little hands.
I do have nice hands. Look at this.
Look, even the Centers for
Look
Disease
at Tasty's
Control.
hands. You think Tasty can fit those hands inside that Dyson?
They bump all over the
right.
Yeah, it's
and
like
then,
a brisket with sausages
and then
attached.
there's this moisture just spraying back
There's
at
no
you, hitting you in the face.
Even the Centers
Off
for
of my
Disease
hairy
Control
hands, yes.
recommends paper
You're taller
towels
than us.
over air drying. It's the CDC. What are you going to do?
It could be a foot lower, the thing, yeah.
You guys
lower.
It works good for you because you're tall.
What, you want to get on your knees to use it?
No, I have to.
It's not for your penis, Tasty. It's for your hands.
It's for both.
It might work for both.
It is a little small for one, but not for the other.
Right. You guys should just use the bathrooms next door.
Yeah.
The door's right outside.
It's right on the other side of this wall. Yeah.
Scott, can you check the
and you don't
AC
want a door you got to turn the handle because that's the first thing you do is you touch the hand. You just want one you can pull with your little finger.
But see, if I had a little wad of paper towel, I could use that to open the door and then hold the door open with my foot and throw the paper towel in the trash can and then walk out.
I do like to
this.
not touch the doorknob.
That's the problem.
That used to be a thing for me.
Yeah.
You just need a little thing. You don't need any latching or nothing.
Right.
We could give you. We
Take
could
that
put
off.
gloves in there if you prefer. You grab a glove on your way in.
I would love
there you go.
Drop
That's
the
a good
glove
idea. Gloves are a great idea.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Just one. You only need one, right?
Yeah, some of us need two.
All right.
We could do multi-purpose, like a finger
You're
condom.
all
Just
gonna
have
get
condoms.
Yeah.
Right.
One finger.
We could just hand out condoms.
All right.
again.
Well, those are our free
It's
tips
just
for
the
the
door
day.
ends up all lubed.
Right. Yeah, that's an issue.
What's lube?
Never mind, JP.
Okay.
It's like sandpaper.
We'll talk to Taryn about it later.
Please do.
Yes. All right. Hey, I told you we're going to Australia. We're excited about it, and we're also excited, JP. I think for the first time, I get to meet some of the folks from Grain and Grape.
Yes. My good friend John.
Yeah.
Plodding along down there in Australia.
Now, I met John several years ago, so it'll be nice to see him again, but maybe some of the other folks are coming out, so that's exciting. Grain and Grape is one of the, in fact, they're the head sponsor of the Australian National Homebrewers Conference. So I'm looking forward to meeting him there. I assume that the whole crew, at least whoever's not working the store yet.
Yeah.
John and the guys at Grain and Grape are awesome.
They're good people, right?
Very kind, very generous, very, very, just salt of the earth.
John's
Wonderful
he's
people.
too nice. You almost want to punch him in the face to see if he can get riled up a little bit.
Right. Well, you try and give him shit, and he's just trying to figure out how to, be nicer to you.
Yeah, he's figuring out how to smile bigger.
No,
at you.
such great people down there.
Very nice people. They do at their shop a fortnightly brewing demo.
Which I think is like every hour.
Yeah, I don't know what a fortnight is.
It's like every hour, every other hour, maybe.
I think you're right about that.
Isn't a fortnight like every 2 weeks?
No, Bevo, don't be dumb.
All I know is that only third world countries still use fortnight, right?
And small
Wait a
islands.
minute,
And they
no,
weigh
they
the
talk
grains
about
in
fortnights
stones,
a lot
yes.
in Harry Potter.
Right.
I'm
Third world
pretty
countries.
sure it's
England, Australia, Africa,
Alabama.
Right. Only third world countries use fortnight.
Right.
Whatever that frequency is, they do a fortnightly brewing demo at Grain and Grape. So if you're looking to learn how to brew, you can go. I think it is.
It's 2 weeks.
14 days, right? Why not say 2 weeks?
Because doesn't
they
sound
know what
elegant
2 weeks is.
as fortnight.
It's every fortnight.
It's code language.
We're going to go rob the liquor store every fortnight.
Do you really not know Kate's English?
Yeah, but who listens to her?
Oh, God.
I mean, like Alistair pointed out earlier, she's crazy.
Yeah.
Because she's a woman.
And she's English.
Who listens to these people?
Women.
Anyway.
To the English?
Kate doesn't say fortnight because she'd have to listen to me do this for an
Yeah,
hour.
I'm actually wishing we would just stop talking.
Well, and also, who plans something every 2 weeks? No one does it.
Well,
so we don't use it fortnight. We go, oh yeah, let's get back to you in a week or so.
Not a Grain and Grape. Every couple weeks they do a brewing demo.
Sorry, John.
They've been doing it for 20 years. They've been supplying brewers in Australia, so they've been in the business for a long time. Go check them out. For all that time, they've been working to supply the best and the biggest range of equipment and ingredients around, including 90 varieties of malted grain from Belgium, Germany, the U.S., Britain, and of course Australia. 40 different varieties of hops. Over 50 Y-yeast liquid and fermentist and Danstar dry yeast cultures. Fresh work kits made on the 500-liter Braumeister right there in the warehouse. Check them all out at grainandgrape.com.au.
Yes, please do.
.com.au.
I'd consider them the equivalent or better than most of the homebrew shops in the U.S.
Oh, yeah?
Absolutely. I mean,
did you go to the shop when you were there?
Yeah.
You did.
I went to one of the brewing things.
Oh, cool.
And essentially it turned into a drinking thing.
Weird.
But, yeah.
Just fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
It's always a good time.
I mean, over 90 malts.
Yeah.
Imported. They're all imported, right?
No, he said some from Australia, too.
Oh, some from Australia. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Well, most of them are imported.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money being spent to bring in these high-quality malts because
Absolutely.
you can't make good beer without good quality malt. And John knows that.
And he knows it. All right. There you go. Should we do some beer news?
Yeah.
I like beer news. Did you get the beer news I sent you today, too?
Yes.
Are you going to use it?
Sure.
I like that. I just having lunch, and occasionally I get beer news sent to me, too. So, all right, let's do some beer news. That sounds like fun.
It's the Brewing Network's Beer News, brought to you by homebrewstuff.com.
Well, a bit of scaremongering here from the news department, as per usual. Early August rains in eastern Idaho dumped a ton of water there in malt barley country, and it has caused more than 50% germination on the crops, which means that the barley will not be fit to use in beer making. It will be fit only for animal feed. To give you some perspective, this year's malt barley prices.
Yeah, he wasn't having session beers.
No, I have no excuse. More than $12 per 100 pounds. The animal feed barley goes for less than $5. So huge hit for those farmers who thought they had a big cash crop. And it's likely to go down even further, actually, as more and more malt farmers are just trying to sell off all of this animal feed only stuff. So in addition to Montana and Idaho, North Dakota's malt barley crop has also been hurt by weather. Those are the three states that produce the most of the nation's barley.
Okay.
The crop losses in all three states, it's a triple whammy. Luckily for the short term, the 2013 Canadian malt barley harvest was a record high. It was gigantic. It left a huge surplus. So prices for brewers and, then beer drinkers, of course, will probably remain stable for another maybe 6-8 months. Nobody really knows, but it's looking like inevitable. Prices are going to go up.
Being a farmer sucks. Like everything you do relies on something that you have zero control over. Yeah. It's a hope and dream game, and of course you play the numbers, you bet on things, but. God, it would scare the crap out of me. Our Winterfest, our Winter Beer Festival, the best thing about it is that it's in the winter, so there's not a lot of competition. There aren't many beer fests on either side of it, so brewers get excited about it, people are excited about it, but I'm terrified every year that it's going to pour rain on us. Now, we're in California, which is pretty much in a perpetual drought.
State of drought.
So the numbers say it's probably not going to rain, but the one year that it did rain, our numbers were pretty bad. And it's going to happen again to us one of these times. And it terrifies me. But imagine your whole livelihood being based on the weather.
What about the poor brewers? Oh, sure, there's a boon in Canadian barley, but, who wants to use barley grown north of the U.S. border?
Or any other product.
It's going to be way too friendly, way too nice, the barley. It's not going to have the aggressive nature
it's too agreeable.
that we want in our West Coast beers.
Absolutely.
I heard that most of our U.S. barley is from Canada anyways.
Oh, shh.
I'm serious.
Not the ones we're using in aggressive IPAs. How could it be?
Well, I don't drink those fucking marketing bullshit, so I don't know. But no, I'm serious. I heard most of our malt is Canadian grown anyway.
I think a whole bunch.
So it doesn't really fucking matter.
Damn it.
They started out, that brewery game started out as that malting barley game, but there were too many suicides.
Yeah. It's really
just do what LA does and steal our water. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Or they pay for it, I guess. You're welcome.
I don't know. It just seems very stressful to me.
Yeah, well, and it's going to be stressful on the both brewers, like Jamil said, and the beer drinkers, because we of course absorb all the costs at the end, don't we?
Yeah.
As the retail side.
The retailers and the drinkers, we're the ones who pay for it.
Indeed. So we'll see what happens. Time will tell, and good luck with next year's crop because it sounds like we're going to need it.
Yeah.
So here's some of the news Justin sent me. President Obama has made good on his World Cup bet with his Belgian counterpart. You might remember Belgium's Prime Minister Elio Di Rupo tweeted Obama a friendly wager ahead of the two nations' round of 16 tie in the World Cup, with the loser having to send a case of the country's finest beer to the other.
Don't say the beer. Keep going, but don't say the beer.
Obama accepted the bet, and the Belgians, they did win. They won in extra time. So 2 months later, here now Obama has finally paid up. He sent the Belgian embassy in Washington, D.C. a case of...
So the bet was of America's finest
beer.
Now, did anybody else read the articles? Anybody know the answer?
I don't know the answer.
Without saying what what's your first guess? Like the first thing that comes to your mind
It's either
when
gonna
it's
be Budweiser or Sam Adams.
Because it's like a political thing, right? So you think he can't just actually send his favorite beer. He
couldn't just send Russian River.
It's going to piss everybody off.
PBR.
So Budweiser or PBR, like some of these were my first thought. Budweiser was my first thought.
But I guarantee it's something from the East Coast.
Why?
Because that's where he's located.
Oh.
He lives over there. I don't
Yeah,
know
he
if you
lives
knew
there.
that.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah, but I was just thinking that would have the only thing that it would have to do with it would be politics, like because clearly there's going to be a news story about it, and
the whole Chicago thing, maybe Goose Island.
Can you can you imagine
if still Budweiser?
Everyone's going to have a problem with whatever Obama does, no matter what. So if he's in Washington, D.C., and he doesn't send a beer that's around 500 miles of Washington or 50-mile radius of Washington, D.C.
Are you tasty now? Why is it Washington?
No, I'm talking too much. If we did that, then people would be pissed. If he sent beers from Portland, people would be pissed.
Right.
So so he has to send something locally for politics reasons.
Okay.
Dogfish.
For reasons about politics.
He should have said one of the best
Sam
beers
Adams.
in America, not like the best.
One of the beers in America, yes.
Yeah,
what was the line again? It was America's finest beer.
Yeah, it was. It was a friendly wager ahead of the two with the loser having to send a case of the country's finest beer.
Dear God,
His advisor. He needs a beer advisor.
Well, it was not Budweiser.
Sam Adams.
Why was it? Why do you think it was not Budweiser?
Because they are bought by AB InBev.
Not American owned.
Not American owned, yeah.
No longer America's...
Sam Adams.
Can't be on the list of America's finest beer.
They're Belgian.
And they're Belgian.
Come on.
That would be funny. He's here. America's finest beer is a Belgian. It's Bud. Well, Jamil's absolutely right. It was Sam Adams.
Yes, it was a case of the Boston Lager, and there was actually a second case of the seasonal variety pack.
Still political in
that
my
was
mind.
Like a bonus. They need to get rid of that, or
well, it is one of. It might be America's. It's one of America's largest breweries, even though it's still a craft brewery and small compared to the big guys.
Yeah.
SAB Miller, that's what, Brazilian SAB.
South America.
And South America. Okay. I think Brazilian SAB.
SAB is South American brewers.
Brazil.
South American.
Yeah. Brazil.
Anheuser-Busch, now Belgian. I guess there's the Miller Coors, but I think
part of SAB.
That's part of SAB.
But I think in America they're different.
Miller Coors.
So does that
in
make
America they're different, right?
SAB Miller Coors.
Yeah.
And AB InBev is trying to buy SAB Miller right now.
Right.
Yes.
There you go.
That is
And
also.
I would guess that Obama actually drinks craft beer. That he would not be drinking those other breweries' products.
Because he's too cool?
Yeah.
He just likes good beer.
He's having he's having the White House chef's homebrew, the honey ale. So he's into beer. You know?
Yeah.
So
I'm not too disappointed with Sam Adams.
No, me neither.
I'm pleased.
I was a little surprised, but now it makes sense. I'm happy with him sending
I can think of a couple breweries that I'd be pissed off if it was them.
I mean, they could do like I said, Russian River. They could do Sierra Nevada.
Maybe a dog beer or
something.
It's okay. I mean, how fresh is it going to be when he gets over there? I mean, by the time it comes from the East Coast to the West Coast,
they flew it on Air Force One.
Air Force One.
Air Force One. Straight
over.
Just
Malagash say, "Here's how it's done, man. Here you go."
Send him a American Belgian beer.
Yeah, try this shit.
What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Anyway,
good.
I just thought it was interesting to try to guess what America's finest beer was.
But why 2 months later?
Sent.
That we should contact.
Just waiting for the Best Buy date to
2 months
for the multi-pack.
There were a lot of rounds of golf to be played, and then he could ship the beer.
I don't know. I've got bets from 2 years ago. I still have
a couple international crises.
It happens.
Well,
It's
don't
an
run for
accident.
president. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, weren't you supposed to get a pedicure?
I think so.
Yeah.
I lost a bet to Kate the Great. I was supposed to get my feet
Your
done.
talons waxed?
Yeah. She never called me on it, so I'm not going to offer it up. Like, hey, remember, I'm supposed to go get my feet done.
When do you want me to make good on that?
Yeah.
Oh, like you could understand her anyways with that accent of hers. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
You're like 4 words behind, like JP said.
Right.
Yeah, that
All right.
English accent's tough.
Here's the next one. For this is a Southern California story for our guests here. A Lagunitas big rig dumped its precious cargo all over the 57 freeway a couple days ago. It was east of Los Angeles, 57 South. The driver lost control and ran off the freeway at the Auto Center Drive exit. The reasons are yet to be determined, but the truck apparently veered to the right out of nowhere, collided with the guardrail, skidded down an embankment, and then hit the wall of a storage facility at the base of said embankment. So it came to a rest, overturned onto its right side, and it had spilled kegs and boxes of Lagunitas everywhere. The driver was unhurt, 41-year-old guy from Fresno. Authorities say the investigation is ongoing, but the cause of the crash does not appear to be alcohol-related.
The beer was too unbalanced.
Yeah.
Harold was listening to the right. Yeah.
Sorry,
That was a horrible story until that comment. I tell you.
Fell right down the hill.
Grace from Stone put a hex on him.
Yeah.
Did you see that picture I sent along with the story there, Justin?
Yeah.
It's not a pretty picture.
Well, I saw other pictures of the truck, and it's completely empty, and the back doors are still closed.
Oh, yeah.
So it all went out the top.
Mangled.
Yeah. It all went out the top. They emptied the complete trailer.
Yeah. Totally mangled. Yeah. I saw this story posted on, different social media sites. I found it, maybe it's just me, I found it humorous that all the beer geeks, all their first posts were...
Oh, the poor beer or something?
No. That's what I expected it to be, but I knew that they're... because it's in the public eye, they have to say the thing they're supposed to say first. So they all go, I'm glad the driver's okay. And then they go, but all that beer... And they don't give a shit about the driver. What they meant to say was, I can't believe all that beer's been wasted.
How can I get some of those kegs? That's what I'm thinking,
I just find it interesting how people feel like they have to behave in public. I'm glad we don't feel that way here at the Brewing Network. We just urinate places. Don't wash our hands.
No, I wash my hands.
Oh, yeah.
I don't dry my hands.
It's a little bit of a chore here.
Carry on, please.
All right, here's a world record. There's a world record, as I was explaining before the show, for everything. And this world record is the 1 liter mug carry. So a German guy named Oliver Strümpfel, he just set the record.
That's not a woman?
But, actually, before... let's listen to a BBC woman telling it, right? Because I'm not as good. I never will be.
For some, carrying one too many drinks can be a bit of a challenge, but not for Oliver Strümpfel, who broke the world record for carrying the most beer mugs in one go. Holding 27 full 1 litre traditional German mugs, Strümpfel now holds the world record. He was up against just one competitor, as they had to carry as many full mugs as possible for the distance of 40 metres. He's had quite a lot of practice, though, having worked at a traditional German beer festival for the last 17 years. But it hasn't always been easy. He had to undergo training by going to the gym during the winter months, and 3 years ago he had a bit of a beer disaster after 23 beer mugs fell down at once.
And this is on this video, of course, he's triumphantly crossing the finish line. You can hear the crowd going crazy for him in the background.
Is 40 meters the same distance as a fortnight?
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks.
He walked for 2 weeks, yeah. It was a long time. It's a world record. I mean...
Yeah. That's a lot of beer.
I think we ought to do that here. I'm up for that.
You're up for the challenge?
I see it. 27, please.
Yeah.
Well, just think about what carrying just one is like. I mean, they're fairly heavy, big glass mugs with the handle.
Yeah.
27. I mean,
that's a
picture
lot.
what that would look like.
Yeah.
Think about a carboy with 19 liters in it, or 20 liters in it. It's glass. You carry that. I mean, really.
You'd have to carry
a little bit more than that.
It's all about the stacking.
Carboy and a half.
Yeah, looks like he's got about 8 in each hand, all holding the handle.
And then
somebody got a layer
top.
stacked on top.
Yeah. So you're saying no big deal?
No big deal.
I seem to remember that the last time this story has been covered before, but last time it was a woman who did it, I think.
Yeah.
Not 23, really?
That's sexist.
I think we
like
should have
that.
a saliva test after that account.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a DNA
Or the
test?
Olympics in
I
the
don't know.
80s
The guy in
now.
the video had some pretty good sized breasts on him.
I bet he would with all that.
Those are
working
leader
out.
glasses. They're not actually breasts.
I'm pretty
like
sure it
another
was
shelf.
also
No, he's
it was
leaning
a,
back, too.
It was a German woman who broke the last record, so I
Yeah.
think that's the
Really?
record he's breaking.
I
Yeah.
want to see a picture of her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll look it up right after this last story. JP touched on it a minute ago. So here's how I was going to report it, and we can elaborate. So global brewers this is like basically a stock market story. They're back to valuations last seen on the eve of the financial crisis. So the stock market as a whole has been doing great. Big beer has been doing really well. Heineken confirmed a takeover approach from SAB Miller, which primed the sector's pump even further last week. And Heineken is family controlled, and they made it clear that they're going to remain independent. But no matter what, both companies, their prices rose, their shares rose. However it plays out, SAB is central to hopes that the beer sector is set to consolidate. So growth at AB InBev is slowing. Earnings they're going to maybe about 8% annually from 2013 to 2016. That's the projection, compared to 15% from 2009 to 2012. So what they're saying is AB is now going to maybe try and take over SAB Miller hostilely, and SAB approached Heineken to try and make themselves bigger to avoid a hostile takeover.
I'll tell you this. They could do a hostile takeover of Heretic. I'm wide open for that.
You're down?
I don't think it's hostile anymore.
I've got the kimono open.
Yeah.
And SAB, you could add us on there, like a little tick on the butt of SAB to fend off the AB InBev.
I've always
There you go.
felt the same thing
Just
about
saying.
the Brewing Network. We are not opposed to being hostily taken over.
No, you just get all your money up front and
Take me
retire
hostily.
immediately.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then everyone will go, oh, my God, you sold out. And I won't hear it because I'll be on a sailboat in the
A
Caribbean.
lot of countries, sorry.
So,
Well, I mean, and the sailboat could well be about 200 feet long, because the type of numbers that get thrown around for this type of stuff is unbelievable. AB is reportedly discussing a $122 billion financing package with banks
in order to
maybe
buy
try and do
SAB.
this. Yes.
For the Brewing Network, that could be $122.
yeah, for $122, the
Yeah.
Brewing Network could be yours.
You could pay for a few gallons of gas for that yacht.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why it's a sailboat.
I don't need
Oh,
it.
you're right.
It's Brewing Network type of money. I'm just saying.
Yeah, just put it in perspective here. I agree.
So who knows? I mean, maybe is the big macro beer market set for a major consolidation? And I mean, it would probably, there'd be a lot of antitrust sort of, maybe the State Department would be stepping in and trying to prevent that from happening. Who knows how it'll play out?
Yeah, that particular deal, it will be very difficult to go through. I read that SAB Miller would have to sell off the Miller Coors portion of SAB in order for it to go through, because then AB would own
everything.
Coors, Miller, Anheuser, so it would be a huge antitrust issue.
All the brands dropping rapidly, yes. They would own all of them.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall, Jamil.
So there's going to be one huge beer company and no barley malt for anybody to brew any beer with.
Yeah.
That's the news, brought to you by homebrewstuff.com. Our friends over at Homebrew Stuff are telling you to brew your winter warmers and your barley wines and such right now. Now's the time. Head over to homebrewstuff.com/promotions. Get everything you need.
Great. All right, let's do feedback. I told you we would, and we got some good feedback today. Feedback's brought to you today by BeerLawCenter.com. Our good friend John over there, protecting the hop grenade. We had more stuff come through just this week.
Uh-oh.
Michigan seems to be ripe for stealing the hop grenade, is all I'm going to say. Yeah, Michigan breweries taking the grenade.
Jerks.
But John looks out for us. He protects us. He can protect your brand, too. Go to BeerLawCenter.com and check it out. So Pete writes in, Justin and crew, I wanted to email and let you know how grateful I am for the entertainment and the help you've provided to me throughout the years. I've been a home brewer for going on 30 years now.
Wow.
That is older than Tasty.
That is old.
He started brewing when I was born.
I was even drinking then.
Are you just 30, Moskowitz?
31.
Oh, yeah, boy. 30 years now, and I've been listening to your show from nearly the beginning. I think he doesn't mean the beginning of his 30 year. The beginning of our.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, maybe he does maybe begin with his 30th.
Where's he from?
You never know.
He is from Clarkston, Washington. Washington. About 10 years ago, I finally took my homebrewing up a notch by going all grain and doing significant upgrades on my home brewery. I learned on my own by scouring the internet for information and happened to stumble upon your show. Instantly a fan. So in 2008, I was able to finally fulfill my dream and with a partner and friend was able to purchase brewing equipment and open a small 7-barrel brewery in rural southeast Washington called Riverport Brewing Company. I'm brewing just over 1,000 barrels a year. I just finally got my shit together and enlisted in the BN at the Ranger level to say thanks. So looking forward to many more years of entertainment and hope to see you in Denver. Well, there you go. Congratulations, Pete, on following your dream. I met Pete a few times. He's even volunteered, even since becoming a professional, at some of our anniversary parties. He still goes to homebrew conferences, and so it's nice to meet him. But I'm glad to see his success.
Is he handsome?
He's all right. You know? Yeah, he's like a 2-beer.
Most brewers are handsome. I'm just saying.
Beer, yeah. All right, Chris in Oz writes in, "Hey, crew, I just wanted to find out if you have some sort of itinerary for your Australia trip. I won't be able to make it to Canberra for the conference, but would still like another opportunity to catch you in person. Perhaps you could try doing a live session while you're here." And then he's got
it's a pretty big country. Where is
info. He? Yeah.
I mean, how are we going to run into this guy?
Canberra?
I just realized how big it is, too, because we were planning our itinerary, and I'm thinking, well, we're over there, we'll go here, we'll go there. It's like an 8-hour flight. It's like crossing a continent.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
You think they ever do that when they're planning trips to the States? Like, we'll just visit New York, and then we'll visit Boise, and then we'll just swing on down to Los Angeles?
I don't think so, because I think that only the U.S. is as retarded at geography.
Unable to use Google Maps.
As the U.S. is. We just happen to be particularly bad at looking at maps. Because why would we? I mean, we don't need the continent that matters.
We're us.
We are. Absolutely.
Anyway. So I have a little bit of itinerary. Do you have your itinerary too, Tacey? You must have.
Well, we'll be in Sydney.
Are you going before or after to Sydney?
After.
After. I'm going to Sydney before. The weekend before.
Okay.
And then headed up to Canberra. You're going to go the weekend or the week after.
Yeah, so
all right.
I'll be available for engagements.
So find Tasty on Facebook.
Yeah.
And
we'll talk.
And anyway, I don't want to hang out with a bunch
And
of
if your wife's
Australians.
available during the day, I can hang with her while you're at work.
Right. Yeah. While you're at work.
Yes.
If she needs company.
Well, I got to see some tourist stuff, so I'll need a companion or two.
Totally makes sense. I'll work on getting somewhat of an itinerary. Canberra is going to be the best place to hang out with us. We will be going out to some places in Sydney. We could use recommendations on that if you want to take us out to some good breweries. He does say if you have time to kill, there are a lot of Oktoberfest happening about that time of year. So we could look for that. I still don't know where he's at. And then I'm flying to Perth after, which is the entire other side of Australia. But I hear that golf is really good there.
Oh.
So.
What do you mean? You don't lose your ball, or you just play better?
The ball rotates the other
direction. It's supposed to be nice, like kangaroos going across the green
that's good.
stuff.
I think we might have talked about this before, but I really hope you get punched by a kangaroo while golfing.
Thank you, Bevo. That'll be a fun story, I guess. They're tough, I hear.
Can I get some video?
They're like rodents. They're like the rats of Australia, aren't they?
Australian golf courses are tough, or kangaroos are tough?
Can you wear a GoPro on
people
your
used to
head
box them
at all times?
Yeah. A what?
Can you wear a GoPro on your head at all times?
Just to see what an idiot I am?
Just to see what it looks like to get punched.
Yeah. All right.
By a rat.
Keep up the great work. You guys rock, from Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
We'll get you more info if I can, Chris. All right. Scotty B. Brewing Company writes in, I have some feedback for you. And then he says burp. Like the sound, though.
Right.
It's written, but it's burp is what he means.
Right.
Yeah. And then he goes, how do you like it, huh? Not too cool belching in your face, is it? Why must you burp into the damned mic? Have you ever heard of a damned mute button?
No.
Love, Scotty B. Brewing.
Yeah.
F you, Scotty.
I got that.
Yeah, suck it, Scotty. I don't know. We'd like to burp into the microphone. I agree that it sounds disgusting. I just don't care.
It does really sound real gross.
Yeah. It's something fun about it, No, I got nothing.
0 fucks, dude.
It's all that low carbonation beer. I don't even have burps tonight, Andy. You fucked me up. I was going to do this whole burping bit during the feedback, but your English ale leaves me feeling, my esophagus feeling healthy.
You're becoming sophisticated slowly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, sent from my Turing machine. Anybody know what a Turing machine is? That's the name of the person who writes in.
Yeah.
Hi, why not use the union? Oh, this is about naming our studio.
Yes.
Because we still haven't named our new studio, Tasty.
Seems to work fine without a name, but yeah.
He says, why not use the union of the letters used so far in all of the BN studios? Put the whole history of the BN studios, which would end up being Studio ADD.
Oh, this guy's a genius.
Since most brewcasters seem to be diagnosed with that anyway.
Well, one in particular.
Thanks for all the info and the entertainment. And
this is genius. He just named the studio, did he not?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking so.
Absolutely. You know when you hear it.
We all pretty much
That's
have at least a small part of, what? Squirrel? ADD. So I'm thinking Studio ADD.
Bravo, sir. Yeah, I like
Bravo.
it.
You good, Tasty?
Yeah, I like it.
Jip,
it carries over the
sign
double
off
D.
on it for me?
It's okay.
All right.
It's all right.
I'll take it.
All right.
That's to JP, all right is like, holy shit, it's good.
ADD describes my whole experience here.
Proof that we all have ADD. None of us came up with that.
Exactly. All right, Studio ADD it is. Thank you from my Turing machine. Whatever that is.
Look, I just write in the way I see him, man.
And finally, our spam of the week.
Yeah.
How are you? Love Jeff Loveland. That was the whole stuff. That was it. How are you? See, because if you respond, that's how they get you.
Good, and you?
Yeah, fine.
There was like some weird gibberish link, but I'm like, this is fucking perfect.
How are you?
Perfect.
That's our spam of the week.
Doing good, Jeff. How are you doing, buddy?
All right, feedback's brought to you today by BeerLawCenter.com. All right, before we do our Twitter game, and that's about all we have to do tonight, I think, right?
We do have a beer to drink.
Oh, you brought us Cantillon, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Let's just do it off air.
Okay.
Let's just take a whole other
10
minutes
to hear us
so we can sit around slurping a beer.
Well, I can go
belching.
Get it. I can go get it and open it, and we can open it and pour it while we do the Twitter game.
No, let's just...
No.
Yeah. All right. Adam and Eve.
Yes.
Right now you can go to adamandeve.com, and I guess for a limited time, you get...
For a limited time, 10 years running.
I mean, who thinks, like...
All time is limited, right?
Okay,
We're all going to die someday.
All right, well, I guess if you put it that way.
But for one section of the limited time, so it's hyper-limited.
For a hyper-limited
until they go out of business.
Time, or drop us as a sponsor, which the way this is going...
That's the most limiting part, I think.
You can get 50% off just about any one item. You can get free shipping. You can get 3 free adult DVDs.
Anal, amateur, Asian, bisexual, chunky, co-ed.
He knows them all.
Thank you, Jamil. I was going to see if MacLeod wanted to participate in the genres this time, but Jamil just covered it.
Poor Andy's been waiting to get on the show just for this moment.
Throw it out.
You want to give
my
it
favorite?
Oh, now it's really
open fermentation. That's his favorite.
Yeah. Or Maltster snuff films.
Is open illegal. Fermentation the same as like double penetration? Is it?
Well, it's a little more open.
It's a bit more freaky.
It's definitely a bit more
freaky. It involves like a yeast infection or something.
Okay. That's a new genre.
Yeast infection.
I mean, we're in Van Nuys. It's just kind of like, well, it's just MacLeod.
That it is like at least it used to be the capital of porn, didn't it?
The digital playground space there. What's that, like the biggest porn studio in the country or something?
I don't know. Jennifer. Oh, Vivid.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember Vivid videos.
I used to work out at
You used to work
with
Vivid?
the wife of the guy who owns Vivid, and you should see her diamond ring.
Oh, yeah.
Bigger than this.
Big cash.
What did the rest of her look like?
Yeah.
A lot of plastic surgery.
Like
diamond jealousy there.
But she's very nice.
You know what Jamil taught me about porn once? We were talking about internet technology. And because we're a streaming company, and Jamil, at the time you were working in a tech company, and you had explained to me that porn had really driven the technology.
Porn drives technology
to provide video over the internet. Because the only people who really cared at the time were people watching porn. And of course now we have Netflix, and everyone's delivering video over the internet. But if it weren't for perverts,
people jacking off for the internet,
the technology would have been much more delayed, I would imagine.
It's the same thing that brought in the invention of the VCR.
Oh, right.
Was pornography. There was no use for VCRs until pornography came around.
Because who wanted to go to a theater?
Yeah.
What about the space program? Did porn spur that somehow?
Yeah.
I'm sure it did.
It did spur sure.
Who needed giant vibrating rockets more than the porn industry?
you're right. Never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Anyhow, 3 free adult DVDs and then a free gift that's very, very sensual. And it varies when the more you order, the more different free gifts you get.
It's always sensual.
AllAdamandEve.com. Use coupon code BNARMY. That's BNARMY. Thank you. Oh, that's a real ad, by the way. You actually can use the code and actually get cool stuff and not have to go to the pervy, awkward local store.
I just sent you an email on something I just now found on Adam and Eve. I don't understand.
Can you just describe it
I
to
don't
me?
understand it. No, I
It
can't.
goes in a hole. That's what I'm just guessing.
One of the holes, yes. It was one.
The email is titled, I don't understand how these work.
It could be anything.
Well, married to Sam, what do you
We should
figure?
try to guess what that is, because it could be pot holders, it could be brakes,
I think that's our next Twitter
it could be mechanical pencils. We don't know.
Yeah, it could be a broadcast phone system, for example.
Definitely could.
It could be an email program.
But no, I'm old enough to know
you're pretty
what's
old.
what, but I don't
Been
understand
around the block.
Well, now I got to
All right. Well, I'm clicking on the link. They're called Adam and Eve. I'm waiting for it to load. Adam and Eve Duo Kegel Balls. JP, do you know what Kegel balls are?
I know what they are. I'm not retarded. I just don't know how.
You don't know how to use them?
Stuff them both in the hole there.
Why are they attached to a string?
Because
how you going to get them out?
Retrieve it. Yeah, you got to retrieve
Yo, leave them there,
Yeah.
Bevo. They're not. It's not a permanent fixture.
You pull and you squeeze at the same time.
They're not
There
going to
you go.
hatch.
Yeah,
It's
you
gonna
bear
tighten
down
that
on
thing
it,
up for you.
and you have right on the G spot.
Duo keg.
Do I have to show you this?
They're
I told you it goes in a hole.
The tagline is these balls stimulate with every stride.
I don't want to do this anymore.
That'll get you walking around the office more often.
It's like, why does Bevo keep walking back and
Where's he
forth
standing up?
across the
Oh,
bar?
yeah, he's jumping jacks and then falling over. Why he's got her O face on too?
I need a glass of water. I'll get it. I got it. I got that shit. You know what I really need? I'll get it. What do you want?
So what would 50% off that
Why
be?
do I sound like that?
Let's get her.
I gotta go. You just went to the bank. I gotta go again.
I'll do it again. I don't care. I just need to stand up. I
gotta take the car.
There.
No, I'll walk. I'll walk.
The Bevits in Wanna Creek. I don't care. I'll be back tomorrow.
She gets very angry when she has Kegel balls in. Anyway, they're only $30, Beef. So 50% off of that.
That's a deal.
$15.
Yeah.
Do they come with an instructional manual?
Yeah. Well, you get 3 free DVDs and an extra special gift and free shipping.
Get the DVD that
so
shows you where to search.
use the offer code BNARMY. There you are.
You can get them in pink or black.
Oh, go black. You'll never go back.
Never. All right. There you go. AdamandEve.com. Coupon
What's the
code.
string for? She asked. I like that.
I really didn't know.
It's all right.
How did you think you
It's
were?
an honest question.
Never mind.
I thought they were. I don't know. I
Read the title of the email again.
Yeah.
don't understand how these work.
There you go.
Where do you
That's
stick
all
these
you need
things?
to know.
I have a feeling that Sam gets his email about 3 times a day.
With a picture of like a light switch.
I don't understand how these
It's
work.
like her just holding a light bulb in her hand. I don't get it.
Just her baby. It's Abigail.
The car.
All right.
Soda machine.
Can we do our Twitter game? I gotta go. Man.
Bird. What is that? How does that work? I don't even understand. A Twitter game was try to find a new way to say wet hop, because wet hop is kind of disgusting. It's a disgusting thing to
After all
say.
that, it's offensive.
Okay.
Our friend Pete DeDink says fresh cone. You can say fresh cone instead of wet hopping,
I like that.
and you won't be so disgusting.
Okay.
J-Bone says Bevo's ass. He goes, there, I beat Sugar Valley Brewer to it. Which we haven't heard from Sugar Valley in a long time. I hope he's not dead.
True.
Kevin Lane says moist hop, which I find slightly more offensive.
Okay.
Marcus Harton writes ejaculupulin.
Much less offensive.
Yeah, much less offensive. Good job, Marcus. Scammons1 says fresh bud. Whatever.
Yeah.
Get out of high school. Kevin Johnson writes soggy hop. It's not bad, I suppose. Bokonon says fresh hop grenade.
No.
I'm going to nix that right now. Big City 2000 says just call it bad idea.
All right.
Ben says yard clippings. Brian Mulhall says vine hopped beer. You're getting a little too technical on that one. Thomas Schuffman says green hopped. I didn't mind that too much. Rob Sorbo says hop throbbing. Instead of hop bursting, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Kevin James says, I support calling it raw hopping.
Well, I like raw hopping.
I like fresh coning. But
was that in there? Or
No, it's fresh cone, but I like fresh coning.
Fresh coning, yeah. It's not bad.
Ejaculupulin. That'll just kill the beer industry. No one would want to drink a glass of ejaculupulate.
Well, they can do it at Pints and Prostitutes or whatever the strip club is called. That would be a good one there.
Oh, man.
That one.
There you go. That's your Twitter game.
I can't pick a winner, JP. You go ahead.
They weren't really very good. That's why.
Bad Idea was pretty good.
That was all right. That made me kind of go...
All right. Bad Idea is our winner. There you go. Bad Idea. Send Bevo an email, bevo@thebrewingnetwork.com with your shirt size, and we will send you a MacLeod Ale Brewing Company T-shirt. They're pretty sweet, by the way. You guys did a nice job on the design.
Oh, I stole one.
Did you get one? I might have to grab one, too. Thank you. All right. I'm going to grab one, too, and we'll send one to Bad Idea guy. That guy.
Yeah, B City 2000 or whatever it is.
Beautiful. We'll do that.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll do that.
Yeah. Oh, I just got Bevo's email.
Moskowitz, am I done? Did I do everything I'm supposed to do?
Yes.
I
think so.
Did. All right. Who's on next week? Oh, Bill Owens. The great Bill Owens of
legend.
Buffalo Bill Brewing Company.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, he helped to pass the law that allowed breweries to sell beer themselves in California. I don't know if it was the brew pub law or
the brew pub law.
Is the brew pub law?
Just like to have a tap room at your brewery, right?
Because without having to go direct, it was a loop to the 3-tier system, so you could have a brew pub and sell your own beer as well. Bill Owens helped do that. It's Buffalo Bills in Hayward, but he's moved on to a new project too called the Distilling Institute, the American Distilling Institute. So he's gotten into distilling as well.
Yeah, it's fun to talk to. It'd be great.
So he'll be on the program next week in studio, I assume.
Indeed, he will be.
Also, so, come drink with us and Bill Owens. That'll be fun. Yes?
Yes.
That it?
Otherwise, we got a couple of Brew Strongs coming up this weekend. So Friday and Sunday, we're doing episodes of that show. So if you're around, come hang out.
Friday and Sunday, huh, Jamil?
Palmer in studio. We're going to do Friday starting at noon. We're going to do a couple of shows, and we're jumping in Chris White's RV, and we're driving up to the Northern California Homebrewers Fest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Then we'll be back on Sunday to
do a couple more.
Sober up and do a couple more shows.
Are you sure you're going to make the Sunday shows?
No. I'm not sure at all.
I have attempted that in the past. I have succeeded once. Worst shows we've ever done.
With me, Palmer, and Chris White, what could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Every show they do is the worst show ever.
It's going to be fine.
Are you going to park Whitey's RV rig right out front as the green room? People can go party in there?
We're probably going to drive it right up on the sidewalk.
I love it. Well, good luck. So all three of you are going to NorCal, too.
My liver will need it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Are you speaking or just hanging out?
I'll probably be relatively mute the whole weekend.
I mean, are you presenting something there?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you just
is Palmer or Whitey? Or who?
Whitey is.
I think that both those guys will. It's like the Northern California Homebrewers Festival is, again, really well run, very similar to Australia, where I've been there once before, spoke once before, and that was enough.
So now you're just
so they don't need me to speak anymore.
So you're the fluffer for Whitey and Palmer.
Well, the RVs are rocking. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Go see Jamil, John Palmer, and Whitey at the NorCal Homebrewers Festival, and listen to them here on Friday and maybe Sunday.
Oh,
is what I'm going to
make
say.
it. I mean,
yeah,
some version of them
go
on Sunday.
wrong.
All right, I'll be proud of you if you do. Okay. Anything else?
Wait till you hear
That's
the
it.
show.
We're done. Thanks, MacLeod. You guys rock.
Yeah, thanks to MacLeod. You can go to MacLeodale.com and check it out. Go visit them in Vineyards. Very nice.
Our Facebook page is actually the place to go.
Oh, okay.
It's better.
There you go.
Don't visit them. Visit their Facebook page.
So just search. I did that today. You just search MacLeod. It comes right up on Facebook. So, all right. You ready, JP?
I'm ready.
Get us out of here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. A huge thank you to the folks from MacLeod Ale Brewing Company. Thanks for stopping by and talking great beer with us. Thanks to Brian at Moonstruck Meadery for shooting us some tasty meads. And thanks to our mate Phil over at Beer Merchants for the tasty Cantillon we are about to enjoy. Support the cause and send the BN crew to Australia for the National Homebrewing Conference. Head over to Indiegogo.com and search the Brewing Network to find out how. Follow JP on Twitter at Major Jip and discover a magical world of whimsy and wonder. For some good beer insight and homebrew info, follow Nate Smith at Nathan Homebrew and Mike McDowell at Tasty McD. Production director on the session has been Push Eject. Today's show has been produced by Scott Moskowitz. JP was peeing all the time. Bevo was absent and getting us all burritos. And your host was Justin Crossley. Be sure to find the Brewing Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy and winning the race. JP does great.